entirely realistic chance of making the college football playoff. And we'll talk about that as well, whether that's good or bad for college football. I actually don't think it's good. So we'll talk about that. Braden Gall comes up at 11 o'clock. We will hang out with Todd Lebo in the 1 o'clock hour. Play some Fact or Fiction at about 1:25, 1:30 or so.
Sure.
That's right. We'll play some Maybe, Maybe Not at 1:25, 1:30, and wrap up the show and hand it over to the program, which will hand it over to KU pregame because Mizzou loses to A&M on Saturday, and KU basketball steps up and says, slide out of the way, MU football. We got this. We'll take care of Texas A&M. Corpus Christi. Tonight, 7 o'clock, Allen Fieldhouse. Can the Jayhawks bounce back from the loss to North Carolina and take on Texas A&M?
Can Corpus Christi be Corpus Crispy?
Oh, my goodness. We'll see what happens tonight. Beware, Texas A&M. Corpus Christi of the fog. So that comes up tonight, 7 o'clock, right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, coverage starting at 5:30. Tomorrow night, Mizzou in action taking on Minnesota. And then Thursday, Kansas State back in action taking on Cal. So all three teams playing some Power 4 opponents, Power 5 opponents. Texas A&M, Minnesota, and Cal the next 3 nights. Big, huge.
Huge.
Quickly. What's that from? Huh?
Quickly.
Huge, quickly. What's that from?
I don't know. I thought you were doing...
No, huge, quickly. It's Tiger Woods' voicemail he left on the voice.
Oh, yeah.
You need to erase your voicemail message. Huge, quickly.
Oh, yeah, I know that. And I also, Ludacris used it in a song at one point.
Oh, did he really?
Oh, yeah, Ludacris just...
Luda. All right, 913-912-4810. Huge, quickly. And we'll also talk some Major League Baseball today because David Lesky wrote about Marcus Timms being hired. And I thought it was sort of an interesting hire, not as the hitting coach, but it's a group. Like Bove takes over for the White Sox, and it's Sweeney and Bove. It is a group, but it's kind of Sweeney being the main pitching coach. And I know that Zumwalt is still like the main guy, but it feels way more like a full-on collaboration than it feels like one particular dude is in charge and then a couple of assistants, like a general manager and then a couple of assistant GMs. It feels like it's more of like in Tennessee when you get Borgonzi and the main guy that I can't even remember what his name is that hired Borgonzi to be a guy that didn't have a whole lot of power, which is odd that Borgonzi took that job. But regardless, that feels more like a collaboration rather than just here's the GM and the coach and that power structure. That's what it feels like the hitting coach side for the Royals. So I want to get into that because I think it's an interesting collection of the three of them combining philosophical views. Can it maximize the best of the Royals players? Does it change what they work on this offseason to be in a better position for the offense to look closer to 2024 than it did 2025? You brought up some interesting points, so I want to talk about that today as well.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk just, again, some of the changes with the Royals. I also went out and brought in Cameron Meisner from Tampa Bay, former first-round draft pick. 27
in the house.
Yeah, but still something intriguing there at least. But I'm not going to lie, when I first saw Royals hire Thames, I thought it was Eric Thames or Timms.
Timms, yeah.
Remember him for the Brewers? Had like 2 good years. I'm like, that's weird. Why would they bring in that guy? I did not think he was a hitting coach.
Player.
No, as a hitting coach. But I was like,
I
didn't know he was in coaching.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, he hit 31 home runs that 1 year, but you're like,
well, his coaching philosophy is steroids, allegedly.
Allegedly,
I don't know. I'm not sure, but we have questions. Many people have questioned that. I don't know if anybody's
looked it up.
questioned
31 home runs, 63 RBIs. That's efficiency right there.
Nobody wanted to get on base in front of him. No, that's nobody's on base. I ain't walking this dude. I'll give up a single to this guy because I know that a walk is the same thing. I ain't gonna walk this guy with nobody on base. Oh, he hit a home run? He's not going to do it again.
That was his first year back in 5 years. Like the last time they saw this guy, like he hit 220 with 6 home runs.
Yeah, he ain't going to do it again. I'm not going to walk him.
Then he got yoked.
Yeah. Well, Brady Timms, Eric Anderson. 913-912-4810 is the text line to be a part of the show, part of the conversation. And also a little more baseball, because yesterday Rookies of the Year was announced, and the A's made a calculated risk, and they lost. I understand the calculated risk. I would not have made it, but they lost. We'll explain that and why the Royals are not going to make that same mistake. They will take a different tact next year. We'll get into all of that as well. 913-912-4810. I do want to start with last night's Monday Night Football game, Eagles and Packers, and the last two, or two of the last three, I should say, standalone football games, Thursday night and last night, a couple of 10-7 barn burners that took place. But I don't know, it felt different. And maybe it's because of the jerseys that they're wearing. Like, you talk about the annoyance with Notre Dame getting the benefit of the doubt because they've got real gold in their helmets. I think last night, if you change, and many people were talking about how this felt like a dog of a game. And it was a dog of a game. But the difference, in my opinion, of last night and Thursday is if you change the jerseys, on Thursday, we talked about two dog teams in a dog of a game, that Denver's fraudulent, the Raiders suck, the Chiefs blew out the Raiders and shut them out, and that was like, who cares, it's the Raiders. The Denver Broncos just sort of going through the motions, or maybe not all that good, or maybe their offense continuing to be exposed, and if they don't have a bunch of points in the fourth quarter, what does the Denver offense look like for 4 quarters if the fourth matched the first 3? And that was Thursday night. And last night we're like, this game sucks. But we didn't view it through the prism of the specific teams of like, oh, Green Bay's fraudulent. Eagles can't do it. I mean, yeah, the Packers' defense is pretty good, but good God, Jalen Hurts couldn't throw the football last night.
Literally, it was impressive. You're sitting there, what is he doing?
It's hard to be that bad and that inaccurate.
Did Dylan Gabriel somehow
take over and switch hands?
Switch hands?
It was odd, yes. But also Jordan Love.
Yeah.
Like, I think there are real questions of Jordan Love without Tucker Kraft. And I think there are real analysis to be done about what a high-level difference-making tight end can do to an offense as opposed to like a high-level difference-making wide receiver. Because you can have a high-level difference-making wide receiver, and let's put Pat Surtain on him.
Sure.
Or Sauce Gardner or Derek Stingley. If you've got a high-level difference-making tight end, you're going to put a linebacker, a safety, a cornerback. It can't really feel like there's one guy to shut him down. And Tucker Kraft became that guy because what? It was Luke Musgrave in the same draft class, right? And
I think
Tucker Kraft was the backup.
Yeah.
And Musgrave was the main guy. And then Tucker Kraft became undoubtable that you had to put him in. And he's been a difference maker. And Jordan Love, with and without Tucker Kraft, feels a little bit like trying to think of somebody who's like accurate, pretty good, but not like an MVP caliber player, not a Joe Burrow, but like a level below Joe Burrow. It's like Joe Burrow or Kyler Murray with Jordan Love. Like Jordan Love without Tucker Kraft feels more like Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
Jordan Love with Tucker Kraft is closer to Joe Burrow, almost, it feels like the way he can navigate the offense. And without Tucker Kraft, now Dobbs got hurt too, so that makes a difference.
Because that's been their wide receiver 1, and they have a plethora of, whatever your thoughts are, wide receiver 2 or wide receiver 3s. Mm-hmm. They have a fine group of guys, but no one's great.
Yeah.
And
they drafted a first rounder this year too. It was supposed to be,
and he's injured with Golden. So you have Dobbs got injured, Golden's been injured. So you have Christian Watson, who's finally back, who's always injured. Yeah. Dontavian Wicks has been okay,
and dropped the ball there late. That should have been would have put him into field goal range.
And then you have Josh Jacobs fumble.
Yeah, that was fourth down though. He was stopped anyway.
It wouldn't have mattered, but.
Although he did say the reason he fumbled, and it looks like it, he was trying to lateral back to Jordan Love because it was fourth down.
Yeah, you could have done something with it.
He has the ball in his left hand.
Back.
He has the ball in his left hand, and he's trying to get. I'm like, what is he doing there?
He wanted
to
take 2 points away from me for fantasy football. I get what he was trying to do.
That's disappointing. But like, we look at the Chiefs with Travis Kelce, and if they are transitioning from Travis Kelce to Rashee Rice, does Rashee Rice feel more like a tight end type player as opposed to like a Justin Jefferson on the outside that'll be like this stud number 1 receiver, or an A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith difference there, where Rashee Rice can fill more of the Travis Kelce role And if he isn't that guy, is the draft this year, next year, this year is in 2026, this next draft, is it one where you need to find your next Travis Kelce? If that's what these teams, if a healthy George Kittle's doing that for San Francisco, and a Tucker Kraft is doing that for Jordan Love, and we see tight ends making a difference, like Dalton Kincaid, having back-to-back games of 100 yards in the Buffalo Bills, blowing out the Panthers and beating the Chiefs, and then Kincaid getting injured and the Bills not being able to score.
I think Mark Andrews with the Ravens has been a fairly
he's been like a
solid
Chris
one
Carter,
as well.
He was like 10 receptions and 6 touchdowns.
So, and even if you look in Houston, you'll look at sometimes Davis Mills with Dalton Schultz and C.J. Stroud with Dalton. And again, we're not even talking like
Tyler
elite.
Warren with
Daniel Jones looks like that. Again, we're not even saying elite necessarily tight ends, but at least really, really good players. I mean, when Dak was doing his thing this year, it was with Jake Ferguson.
Right.
It wasn't CD or Pickens. It was a lot of times Jake Ferguson early on in the year.
He's had a really good year.
And I think that's an interesting conversation in regards to, is Rice more like the Travis Kelce?
Yeah.
And I think yes, and I don't want to – this is not trying to disparage Kelce because I still think, he's in the pantheon of tight ends.
Yeah.
But I do think there's this situation where we sit back and say, yeah, he is used more as a receiving tight end than a blocker. He is a good blocking tight end. He's not the best blocking tight end, but I hate when people say he's a bad blocking tight end. He's a good blocking tight end who is best used as more of a receiving tight end. That should not be hard to say, but Patriots fans can't walk and chew gum at the same time, so you have to explain it to them.
It's difficult. I know.
Gronk smash. He threw ball down. It's cool.
Gronk, greatest tight end all time, injured not.
And so I'm just sitting back and I'm
doing body shots off of Edelman's nipples.
So Rashee Rice, I don't even know how it'd sit there. That it would just slide off. Gross.
Yes,
but Rashee Rice, I do think fits that role more. I do think so. I don't think the Chiefs need to. If you can extend Rashee Rice, right? You have to extend Rashee Rice. I don't think the Chiefs need to go out and try and find the next Travis Kelce because, one, good luck, you're not going to do it.
Right.
The odds are, again, we said the same thing with Tony Gonzalez, and somehow you did.
Yeah.
But it's rare.
You're getting closer now to seeing players play like a Travis Kelce.
Correct.
I think Tony Gonzalez and Antonio Gates, New Orleans, Jimmy Graham. I was going to say Jimmy Johnson for some reason. How about them Cowboys? Jimmy Graham. Sort of started this trend of, hey, that's a big athletic dude. Is he a defensive end or can we put him at tight end?
Sure.
Okay, let's put him at tight end. He's a big difference maker. This guy played basketball. Let's try him at tight end. He played basketball. And we've seen more and more of those guys become that over the years instead of just like, all right, this guy's a big dude. He's going to be a blocker. This guy's a big dude.
Fun to catch the ball.
Yeah, right, absolutely. And with the integration of the way tight ends are being used, you are closer now to finding the next Travis Kelce than you were in 2013, 2014.
100%. And again, I just think it goes back to the Chiefs. I think, again, it comes down to, can you extend Rashee Rice? Can you count on Rashee Rice? Can he be healthy? Obviously, off the field, we hope that's the one, and it's behind him, obviously, right? So if that's the case and you can extend Rashee Rice, well, then you're not, I don't think, forced to try and find an elite tight end. I don't think you're forced to try and go to the draft and say, we got to draft a guy in the first or second round. You got to have Tyler Warren or else this offense is going to come to a halt.
Yeah, Cortland Loveland or Tyler Warren, you got to draft somebody early that can be a difference maker.
Or Brock Bowers. I don't think you're.
That'd be nice.
I don't think you're in that conversation.
It's just different size, though, because Rashee Rice is a bigger receiver, but he's 6'1", 200.
Sure.
Travis Kelce's 6'5", 250.
And I want to point out, tight ends,
play different positions.
As it currently sits, the contract is such a vast advantage.
Yes, that's another thing,
That's
too.
maybe the biggest difference is the advantageous nature of the contract. And you just look at the highest paid tight ends versus highest paid wide receivers. It is absolutely drastic. But again, I think if you go to the draft trying to find that, you are maybe a fool's errand.
Yeah.
The Chiefs aren't drafting as high to get a guy like Brock Bowers, right? And so then if you try going, let's say, the second or third round for a tight end, are you getting Michael Mayer? Or are you getting Tucker Kraft?
Yeah,
are you getting Luke Musgrave?
Interesting, yeah.
Or are you getting, because that's what it comes down to. Because the Raiders went for Michael Mayer, who's been fine.
Yeah, he's okay.
He's been fine. He's to an extent like Noah Gray.
Yeah.
Noah Gray's a fine tight end.
Michael Mayer is Luke Musgrave, and Brock Bowers and Tucker Kraft are the guys that were drafted later.
Yeah.
Now, not later as in picks.
Bowers was
later as in year.
Yes, correct.
But, Tucker Kraft later, and then those guys become the studs. Like George Kittle was not a top 20 pick, and he became that guy. Would George Kittle be a top 20 pick now? Maybe. In what we're seeing with tight ends like Dalton Kincaid, because of Travis Kelce and George Kittle, Dalton Kincaid became a first-round draft pick. Whether it was deserving or not, it was a first-round draft pick because the Bills wanted their Travis Kelce.
I've pushed back hard for a long time. I think tight end was one of the hardest positions to identify and translate from college to the NFL. I thought it was very, very difficult just to try and find some of the traits that will easily translatable, I guess, would be the hardest part. I think tight end was very, very difficult for a long time. It does feel like either it's a small sample size or the identification process has gotten easier because you are seeing some of the easier transitions from college to the NFL for tight ends, whether that's blocking less, which could be a part, right? I think at the time, you look back even 5-10 years ago, if you couldn't block very well as a tight end, you weren't going to see the field. Well, now they're splitting you out wide a lot more. Tyler Warren, whether you can block or not, doesn't matter because you're such a weapon catching the football. Kyle Pitts was somewhat in that regard. Atlanta, for the longest time, said, we got to use him as a tight end. And they're like, it's not going to work, Arthur Smith. Put him out wide. He's 6'6". Let him go up against the cornerback. It's going to work better. They are this year. It's worked better. So I think that might be a conversation to have is the process of identifying tight ends and it being translatable early in the draft, is this a new trend? Or is this the outlier small sample size that we're witnessing?
Yeah, and even in this draft last year, there were 5 tight ends selected in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
So you had 2 top 15 ones. Colston Loveland goes number 1 to the Bears.
Good. I think it's way too early to tell.
Agreed. Tyler Warren goes number 14. It looks like Warren's the better player of those 2, but are they being utilized differently? I don't know. Mason Taylor in the early 2nd round goes to the Jets.
And he has shown a lot of glimpses.
Yes. Terrence Ferguson to the Rams went 4 picks after. That was at pick number 46. And then Elijah Arroyo for the Seattle Seahawks, who's shown glimpses as well.
Yeah.
And even in the 3rd round, Harold Fannin Jr.,
who's been actually really good. He's been
right.
And that was the guy I actually wanted the Chiefs to take a look at because he was very
I'll throw another one in there.
Athletic and weird.
5th round, Aronde Gadsden to the Chargers.
Yeah.
Tight end from Syracuse. Is a guy that's looked pretty good so far. So there have been some guys that have been taken early and certainly some guys that have been taken middle to late rounds that you have found that have become that guy. But it's about establishing or finding traits and seeing if you can hone in those things. And if it's not going to be Travis Kelce, are the Chiefs going to be offensively moving forward with Rice, Noah Gray, Xavier Worthy, and Jalen Royals?
It's almost coming down to, is it better to spend a higher draft pick on a receiver or a higher draft pick on a tight end if and when Travis retires? Which is the better allocation of resources?
Because I would guess that when Tucker Kraft gets his extension, it's going to be less than even Rashee Rice. And Rashee Rice is a guy that is not a number 1 receiver right now, and you have had issues off the field and questions about trust, which will lower that dollar sign, that dollar figure. Well, the dollar sign will be the same, but it'll lower the figure after the dollar sign. And still, because he's a wide receiver as opposed to a tight end, it's getting there in tight ends, but it ain't catching up next year. It's not catching up anytime soon. Like we saw center with Creed Humphrey try to catch up with guard and tackle, but it's still got a little bit of a ways to go before it's going to catch up. And I think tight end, the high-end tight ends can start to catch up to a wide receiver 2 or maybe even, pretty much wide receiver 2. But it's going to be a while before the high-end tight ends catch up to a wide receiver 1, if ever. And so do you spend a higher draft pick on that because it's becoming more of a premium position in the NFL while not having to pay the premium price for a receiver that we're seeing in the NFL with that price tag? I just think it's interesting. We'll see Jordan Love moving forward. If he can not be as connected to Tucker Kraft as it feels like maybe he is right now. I think when Dallas Goedert's playing really well then the Eagles' offense, looks much better.
I thought the same thing last night. I thought when he actually went to Goddard, that was when the Eagles' offense looked the absolute best.
Yep, except for the throw to Devontae Smith. Like, the throw.
It's
the only throw. Like, it's the throw. 913-912-4810. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. I do want to talk about the decision that was made last night on fourth down, because it's funny when people say analytics says. It's like, well, I mean, analytics isn't a living entity.
Break. Oh, sorry. It was a false start.
Luckily, though, that wasn't an obvious one. Luckily, that was just a split second, just a hair. I mean, people are Zapruder filming Jawan Taylor at right tackle 2 years ago about whether he was false starting or not. And you got a dude that is damn near making contact with the defense across the line of scrimmage before the ball is snapped. And that ref is just watching like, what do you want me to do? Is that not legal?
If you've not seen the video, the ref is like right there, just zoomed in, and you're like, what are you looking at? Are you dazed and confused?
Was that Jawan? I'm looking, and Jawan Taylor, like, I don't think he's false starting. Jawan Taylor's not out there. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that's all we were looking for. I thought we were specifically only looking for Jawan Taylor. Certainly not Lane Johnson. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. More Zone next. All right, folks, you've heard me talk about Heartland Men's Health before, and it's going on almost 2 years now since I decided to go ahead and get the testosterone level checked. I've been wondering for like a decade. Now a decade plus 2 years. That would be 12 years, essentially. Roughly, give or take a few years. And never got around to seeing what the testosterone level was. Finally, sitting there in early 40s, got 2 kids, getting more and more active, son getting more active, daughter starting to play sports, and it was like, I just don't have the energy level when I get home. Maybe. All right, we'll continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you. Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy. Coming up at 11 o'clock, we'll talk with Braden Gall, 440 Sports Podcast Network, ESPN Radio, college football on the docket with Braden today at 11 o'clock, Todd Lebo at 1 o'clock. Last night, fourth down, 33 seconds to go at the 36-yard line of the Green Bay Packers. The Philadelphia Eagles on fourth down, Packers out of timeouts, and whether that mattered or not, since the clock is going to stop if you don't pick up the first down. Nick Sirianni decides to go for it on 4th and 6. They throw the deep pass, jump ball to A.J. Brown, incomplete. The Packers get the ball, 27 seconds left at the 36-yard line, needing a field goal to tie. It was talked about, debated. Really didn't feel like it was debated all that much. It felt like most everybody was on the same side of what the hell is Nick Sirianni doing.
Sure.
But let's hear Nick Sirianni weighing in. They won the game, but here he is after the game was over, asked about the decision to go for it on fourth down and what went into that.
I would have liked to be in a little closer to kick a field goal, but the closer we would have got, the more. Again, you play every situation a little bit differently, but I didn't want. I think it was into the wind on that one. I knew the kick would have to be a little bit lower trajectory of a kick on that particular one. I got a lot of faith in our offense. It didn't work out on this one. We just didn't get it. But the decision, I stand put on that decision. Especially being up 3, because you go up 6, they're still going to need a touchdown, being a Hail Mary, everything like that. So we would have ended the game if we would have got that, and I got a lot of faith in our guys to be able to do that. But the reason I didn't kick the field goal again, being up 3, and also just this trajectory into the wind there on that particular one.
I thought that was interesting because I would have punted. And I know they're at the 35-yard line. It's a 52-yard field goal attempt into the wind. They were out of timeouts, and there was 33 seconds left. If you kick it into the end zone, okay, you gain 15 yards of field possession. But you also, if you just kick it as high as you can, there's usually like a 4 or 5 second hang time. The throw to A.J. Brown took 6 seconds. So if you're punting it, you're catching it, taking the step, kicking it as high as you can, might be a 5 second hang time. You might get the ball, even if you kick it through the end zone, you might get the ball with about 23 seconds left at the 20. You gained 15 yards of field position.
Sure.
If you kick a field goal and miss it, you're at the 42-yard line. Okay, that's different than the 20. That's 22 yards of field position now. It's 15 from not picking it up on fourth down. And I understand what he's saying is you go for it on fourth down, you win the game. But if you don't get it, you've given them at minimum 15 yards of field position. What could be, let's say you kick it to the 10. Now you've taken away 25 yards of field position with no timeouts. Needing a field goal or not, that's going to be tough to do because you can guard the sideline, they can work the middle. And we saw what happened. They threw the 15-yard pass that took 15 or 20-yard pass that took 15 seconds off the clock from 20 seconds down to 5. And that was it. And they had to settle or attempt the 64-yarder, which the first one was short and the second one was way left. I wasn't thinking field goal in that time. In my mind, I was like, you just punt the ball away, you take the time off, and even if you kick it to the end zone, you gain 15 yards, but still it's 15 yards, the clock's running down. I also disagree with Troy Aikman. Shocker. Troy Aikman nailed it, by the way. Nailed it. You're throwing the ball down there, it's incomplete, and now you stop the clock. Troy, it was fourth down.
Man.
The clock stops automatically. That's why they were able to throw the ball, is because you didn't have to worry about the clock running, Troy. It's okay. It's football. You'll get there eventually.
He's been on a rough, just stretch.
For how many years?
I don't know. Ever since he took over in the broadcast booth?
Probably. Field goal, punt, go for it on fourth down. What were you thinking at the time?
Yeah, I appreciate the, at least, openness of Sirianni afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
What I like how he was open about the thought process. I didn't think field goal should have been on the card, though. I don't think field goal was. And he talked about how you're into the wind and 53-yard. I mean, that wouldn't have made much sense,
yeah.
Because if you miss, you're
giving
giving
the
them
ball at the 42-yard line.
So I don't think field goal should have been in the equation really to begin with. I think that was the third option there.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't hate going for it. I really don't. I thought, okay, You do end the game with the first down. This is who the Eagles have been. Now, certain teams I would question. Certain teams I would question because it doesn't feel like that is who that team is. If Detroit would have gone for it, I wouldn't have questioned it. If the Eagles, which they went for it, I don't really question it because that's what they do. They go for it on fourth down. They're very aggressive. Punting it, yeah, I'm with you. If you get a touchback, I think you are, and again, that's probably 25%. You're doing numbers here. If you get a touchback, you're sitting here going, why the bleep did we do that? That doesn't help us hardly at all, and we had a chance to end the game. We talk about all the time. You play to win the game. You don't play to not lose. The Eagles tried to play to win the game there.
I just think the only chance you gave them of winning the game or even tying it was missing a field goal or not converting the fourth down. In my estimation.
Yeah.
I think if you punt it down there, because even if you look at like touchback punts like throughout the game, like you're looking at about 8 seconds or so per punt.
Sure.
And so there's 2 fewer seconds on the clock because the fourth down took 6 seconds.
Yeah,
so it's
punting
15.
Punting was probably number one choice.
Punt was number one, going for
was
number
2.
Yeah.
Field goal was a far 3.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't feel like it was like malpractice to go for it.
No.
Like I think there are a number of people that are like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Nick Sirianni is an idiot. I was surprised at how many people were like, I'd punt here. And then even on the broadcast, analytics says this is a clear punt. You know, analytics is saying punt here. You got 6 yards to win the game. If you don't pick up those 6 yards, you've taken time off the clock. They're at the 35-yard line with 20-something seconds left. But I would have punted. I would have punted, taken more time off the clock, put them further down. Then again, they got in position for a 64-yarder. 15 fewer yards. You know, now there's a Hail Mary that you're attempting. Because if you're that far back, you can't work the middle of the field.
Sure.
You have to only work the sideline. At the 35-yard line, they could have worked the middle of the field the first play, which they did. And it was a drop and wasn't a great throw either. But, you know, could have been a better throw, which would have put him into field goal range immediately. He would have been tackled. You get up there, spike the ball, better chance of kicking the field goal. You've got more time on the clock at that time because that play was with 27 seconds, not the 20 seconds. So he would have caught the ball around 20 seconds, run up there, maybe spike the ball around 10, and you could maybe run another play to the sideline instead of 5 seconds, put yourself in better position. But the throw wasn't great. You got to jump in and make the catch. But I thought the best way you gave them a chance of winning the game was missing a field goal or not picking up the fourth down. Punting it, I'm like, you're going to win the game. To me, punting it was playing to win the game as well. I think either one.
Yeah, I guess. Again, it comes down to you can play the double-edged sword of your defense was playing so good, so it allowed the offense to stay in the field and do it because you trust your defense to not give it up. Or you could say, we trust our defense, we're going to punt because we you could use
Either
it
way they won,
on both sides. And you know me, I think Nick Sirianni is a boob, and I like I like ripping on the guy as much as
I know.
the next guy. This is one where I don't have a whole bunch of vitriol or a whole bunch of question. Again, I think it was on a scale of 50% punt, 40% go for it, 10% field goal, he landed in the second category. You can question it, but I don't think it was a disaster of a decision. And clearly it was okay. I mean,
I thought about this last night too when I was my first instinct was like, what is he doing? I thought about it and I'm like, okay, let me put myself in a position of I'm watching this game and I'm taking notes and it's the Chiefs in this exact situation. What would I be saying? And I came to the conclusion that I'd be saying, I want Andy Reid to punt here. The difference would be fourth down, you'd be putting it in Patrick Mahomes' hand. But if you only have 10 points on the day, and Mahomes is struggling at that point and not having a good day, and you're getting pressured at times, and, you know, it didn't seem like the quarterbacks were making plays throughout the game. There was some missed throws. At that point, you're like, look, my defense has given up 7 points the entire game. And I'm pressuring the hell out of these guys. You know, Jalen Phillips is one of the best players on defense in this game. We got that guy now.
It would have been nice for the Chiefs to maybe try and trade for that guy.
Yeah, well, I mean, their third rounder is roughly the same as the Eagles, right?
Yep.
And so, you would have had to have sweetened the pot, I guess, or maybe Miami would have rather traded with you because you've traded before with. I have no idea. But you also would have to say we're going to extend this guy, so you've got to have the plan of giving him that extension as a defensive end. It would also keep you from needing to draft in the first round a defensive end. So while it would cost you a third round and the money in the salary cap, it would save the need to draft in the first round.
I'm just saying, watching Jalen Phillips last night made you go here and go,
I agree.
well, the Eagles made a move. Would have been nice for the Chiefs to
totally agree.
Maybe.
Totally agree. But I came to the conclusion last night, I'm like, my notes would be, I'd like to see him punt right here. Punt it and let your defense go out there and continue to make plays because they've given up 7 points all game. But
so you were hard punt, and I was hard, sat on the fence and said, I'm fine either way.
I was a very strong and strict, I'm good either way. That's what I was.
I always forget because Jason loves like bunting and all that stuff too, and I say there's no bunting in baseball. Hit dingers.
I don't love
hit
bunting,
dingers.
but I would say if you're playing the White Sox in a tie game and you've got first and second and nobody out, and you can't score in the 8th inning at all, I would say if your number 3 hitter is Michael Garcia, he's not Bobby Witt. Would I lay down the bunt? I mean, I'm okay with them doing that. They just didn't execute it. I don't think it was the worst thing we've ever seen in baseball history. That specifically.
Okay, I was also team bunt there. By the way,
we were very much in the minority on that one.
I just want to make fun of you a little bit for.
I'm team Ghost Runner.
I should have said team bunt in softball, which is illegal, but you still try.
Team bunt in batting practice.
Yeah.
What are you doing? All right, we'll take a timeout. We'll come back, continue rolling. I still want to get into today looking at how teams play when they're not playing the Chiefs has just become immaterial. And I'll explain what that means, and we'll get into that as we continue rolling along. Braden Gall at 11 o'clock, Todd Lebo at 1 o'clock. The A's making a calculated risk and losing. The Royals will not make that same risk, and the Royals hire Marcus Timms. More Zone next. All right, NBA fans, if you are out there, your favorite NBA players are back. And DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is the place to bet on. I will talk with Braden Gall, 440 Sports Podcast Network, ESPN Radio. College football, the playoff rankings, week number 2. If you've got YouTube TV and don't have ESPN Unlimited, you won't be able to watch it. Also, if you got YouTube TV, don't forget to go to YouTube TV to claim your $20 credit. Because if you have YouTube TV, they are offering a $20 credit because they are in the dispute with Disney. But they are not going to just give you the $20 credit. You have to go there and click claim my $20 credit. So make sure you do that. Don't let them get extra money by you not getting your $20. Make sure every single person gets that $20. They're doing it on purpose.
on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Everyone has their own taste, and mine is just better.
All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy heading up until 2 o'clock. 1 o'clock, Todd Lebo joins us. And some Fact or Fiction at about 1:25 or so. We'll get into some Kansas City Chiefs coming up in the noon hour. Also going to weigh in, like we talked about earlier in the show, that we're going to get into what the hiring of Marcus Timms means and the calculated move by the A's that did not work out and how the Royals are not making that same calculated risk. Right now, Braden Gall joins us, 440 Sports Podcast Network, ESPN Radio, talking some college football. Week number 2 of playoff standings, week number whatever in college football with the week -2, -1, and 0. I can't keep track anymore. Braden, what's up, brother? How are you today?
What's going on, man? How are you?
I am doing just fine, despite what took place over the weekend for the local fans around here with Mizzou and A&M getting a little bit out of hand and the rough end of first half play that took place that kind of felt like that was the end of it, and Arizona finding a way to win that game against KU. Let's start with Mizzou and A&M. I feel like there is some, there's an unknown to sports, right? When we talk about like quarterbacks or players or draft picks, it's like, oh my God, Cam Ward could be Patrick Mahomes, and you never know. And Jackson Dart, that's a reach. Wait a minute. Would Jackson Dart be the number 1 pick now? Like, we don't know when a guy gets an opportunity to go and play what he's going to look like. And there was a level of optimism with Matt Zoller starting for Mizzou because he's a better thrower than Bo Pribula. And if they can run the ball, then you can have a little bit of both as opposed to Pribula not being as accurate. And boy, was that misguided because I don't know if you know this, Braden, but I learned over the weekend Texas A&M's pretty good. It's a pretty good team. I don't know. I disagree with everybody that says they suck.
Well, the question is how good. Like, there's a lot in there.
Yeah, I know. I'm being a smartass about it, but there was some optimism of Matt Zoller's, though. It just was misguided.
No, there's a couple different things that hearing that sort of setup to the game. I feel like there's a few things that are just not like standard with college football, but like they're major topics that sometimes we forget about, which is, number one, the internet forces us to assume that everyone is either elite or sucks. Like, those are literally the words we use on the internet to define it. There's no middle ground. There's no gray area.
Right.
Like, I don't think Texas A&M could win a national championship, but they're really good. And if they get into battles with teams in the, if they're playing Indiana, could A&M win that game in a playoff game? Absolutely. So like, are they number 3 undefeated national championship good? I still think that's okay to say I need to see more, but are they really, really good, among the best teams in the nation? Can't wait to see them in big spots in the playoff. Like, yeah, absolutely. Then there's the other conversation, another separate one, which is, and I've spent, since I started working in college sports in 2005 at Rivals, when we were like scouting players and sort of covering them as high school prospects, the number of times that a 5-star quarterback, and I'm not talking about Zoller here specifically, but just like, you just don't know until a guy's on the field. And even when a guy's on the field and does something terrible or does something great, you don't know about the next year. You just don't know. And I do think the thing that I felt kind of coming away from the game is that, like, Eli Drinkwitz has done a masterful job building up the roster, building up the depth, developing players, creating, being pretty smart on the coaching staff, doing almost everything right. And it still feels like a program, and this is not a knock, it's just sort of reality, that if you are down to your third quarterback, it just is what it is.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at teams in the NFL that are like this. Like, it's just, when you get down to a certain level, there's not many teams in America that have a second string guy that they trust to run out there in a high level game against an undefeated top 5 team, much less a third guy. And so it doesn't mean that it's not an indictment of the future for this player. But like, I remember the number of 5-star kids who took over the same way Ty Simpson took over for Alabama this year. Like, sat on 5-star recruit, number 1 quarterback in the country, sat on the bench for 1 year, learned under somebody great, and then took over as a starter and like fell on their face. Like you just don't know. For every 3-star that develops, like Sam Bradford, let's say, into a Heisman caliber quarterback, that there's a bunch of John Brantleys and Garrett Gilberts and like all these other guys that are 5-stars who, end up going to a great school with a great system and a great everything, and they just aren't there. So the two things I think of is like, it's okay to be really, really to use like nuance when describing a team. I'm still not fully convinced yet that Texas A&M can win a national championship. A&M fans might think that's absurd, but I've never seen it done, and so until I see it done, I'm sort of like, all right, let's see. And then you just never know about a quarterback. You just don't. And some guys just have it. Some guys fit the system, and they're prepared, and their brains are, they can read the defense faster than anybody else, and they don't have to be the biggest, the strongest, the best arm, and they can step out there, and it just happens. Baker Mayfield, right? And other guys are 5-stars with every possible tool known to man, and it just doesn't work. And so you got to, games are complicated, sports are complicated, and lots of fun, unless, of course, you're, down 24-7 in the third quarter.
Yeah, that was rough, and also down 21-7. You're getting the ball back, but then you give up the fake punt, the third fake punt converted against Mizzou this year. Not great, Bob.
Maybe somebody saw something on film.
I don't know. I doubt it. People don't. Mike Elko doesn't seem like a good coach, so I doubt he was ready to go in that one. I did say this though, in terms of as we move forward with this particular program and this particular coach, if Eli stays at Mizzou, which I don't think any Mizzou fans are saying, well, leave now because of this. But one of my takeaways was watching Matt Zollers, and yeah, he's got arm talent. He throws it 120 miles an hour every time. That he can clearly throw the football. But one of my takeaways, Braden, was, okay, so next time Mizzou is in a quarterback battle, that there might be a little bit more benefit of the doubt given to Eli Drinkwitz and who he chooses, because Brady Cook won the battle a couple of years ago, and it was like, what the hell are you doing not playing Sam Horn? This is ridiculous. And Brady Cook, even to the point that people were, there were some boos when Brady Cook came out there. And turns out he was a damn fine quarterback for college, and Eli Drinkwitz made the right decision. Yeah. And this year, it's like, why don't you just play Matt Zollers instead of Bo Prabula? Like, Bo Prabula is like, you're running the ball, but like he's not reading the field as much. And if Sam Horn was healthy, maybe you throw him in there. But Zollers has all the arm talent in the world, so maybe you just go with Zollers, and it's time to make that change. It's like, oh, well, I guess there's a reason they didn't do that. It's from my own perspective, but I think just in general, too, moving forward, that if Zollers and somebody else gets in a quarterback matchup or a battle and they choose one particular player, I'd say the last 2 times they've chosen the quarterback that won the battle, it was the correct choice.
Yeah, it's almost like guys who make a lot of money to be football coaches. And this is kind of a similar conversation to what we were just saying about both quarterbacks and teams. It's like everyone's like, oh, that guy sucks. Like, oh, he sucks. Is that coach? He sucks. James Franklin, Brian Kelly, those guys suck. It's like, no, they're just not the best coaches of all time. Like, it's like you have, and I know that's kind of a weird thing. It's all relative and compared to other coaches and who else could do what where. And I think one of the things that is lost, and I'm as a Packers fan who's a Tennessee alumni, I am in a very interesting. I'm studying fans and family members. In a very interesting way right now, because people are like, Matt LaFleur coaching for his job, Josh Heupel, if he loses to Vandy at the end of the year, I don't know. And I'm like, you people are insane. Like 7 seasons of nothing but like almost like, sure, he didn't get to a Super Bowl. If that's the judgment for Matt LaFleur, then fine. But like, I covered him here when he was the Titans coordinator. He's the best offensive coordinator the Titans have had in 20 years. Like, does he need to adapt and evolve and make some changes? Sure. Is Jordan Love not nearly as good as anyone in my family thinks he is? I've been telling them that, but they don't want to listen. And Tennessee, much like, and I think Josh Heupel is very much in the conversation with Eli Drinkwitz, which is like, you have to step back and take a look at what's happened with the program. And with Tennessee, and you can apply this to Mike Elko probably in a couple years, because eventually if you're somewhere for 12 years like James Franklin was, and it doesn't work to where the level you would have expectations for, it's clearly you've been very good, but like you've proven over and over and over again that you can't get over that final hurdle. I'm okay. 12 years is a long time. Tennessee was a joke for like 15 years. And for people to turn so quickly on like one season where they are still probably going to win 8 or 9 games, it is a totally new standard for Tennessee football that fans have seemingly forgotten is a pretty good place to be for now. And I think that's how I look at Missouri. Like, if you are frustrated with Eli Drinkowitz, and I'm not saying that that's how people feel, but, like, I'm just in the middle of watching people turn on LaFleur and Heupel right now. If Josh Heupel loses to Vanderbilt in the season finale at home and Vanderbilt makes the playoff because of it, there are going to be people calling for his job. And I think that's insane. And so that's where I think you have to step back and go, like, what has Eli done at Missouri? And in the grand scheme of things, you've got to step back and appreciate all of that first. You can argue about a quarterback decision or a coaching staff decision or hey, the special teams they're clearly giving something away on special, like, all kinds of things that can be better. But you also have to step back and see the big picture and be like, this is, like, Gary Pinkel was great. Like, there's no question about that. But it's hard to argue that this isn't, considering the modern era and how competitive it is and with the money we have and how deep the SEC is and how hard it is to win from week to week in this league. Sure, the schedule's been a little easier last year, but, like, it's hard to argue that he hasn't done as good a job at Missouri as anyone else in the conference. Like, he's done as good a job at Missouri as Kirby Smart has done at Georgia, because I think expectations are higher and should be higher at Georgia. So, again, LaFleur, Heupel, these coaches, like, it can turn on you so fast, and it's frustrating watching fans kind of sometimes miss the forest through the trees.
Yeah, Braden Gall is our guest, and also the amount of coaches that sort of have an idea of what's going on behind the scenes of what they're watching certainly outweighs the amount of coaches that don't, because around here we still remember Todd Haley playing an old Larry Johnson and then Colby Smith over a guy by the name of Jamal Charles, because Charles couldn't possibly stay healthy getting the ball that often until Larry Johnson got kicked off the team and Colby Smith broke his foot, and then he had to play Jamal Charles. And, oh, by the way, look, it's Jamal Charles. So there's also that from time to time that you're like, what the hell were you watching, man? Like, everybody's watching. It's 8 yards per touch. What are you doing here?
Right. And no, there's no question. Like, it doesn't mean that coaches, even the good ones, aren't without mistakes and flaws. Like, everybody's human. It's part of the job. It's part of the game. And, like, every now and then you pick the wrong guy. I think you are, and I think this is not to go super, like, philosophical on you here, but you are not your worst decision or your best decision in life. You are not your finest moment or your worst moment. You are a collection of moments that makes up your entire life. And if a coach has done most of the time, made the right choices, made the right decisions, this is why I never fault a coaching staff for, like, going for it on fourth down on the goal line or going for two. It's like, if you have planned all week, if you see a look and you get the look you want and you've planned all week to attack that look very specifically and you do it and somebody just makes a play and it doesn't work, I don't really fault coaches for that kind of stuff, because it's part of the plan, right? And so I like, that's you're not your worst decision, you're not your best decision, you are a collection of them. And if over time you are, 80% of the time making the right decisions as a coach, you're pretty good.
Yeah. One last real quick one for you. You mentioned with rivals and cover recruiting. We were joking about this yesterday. A really good high school player here, Rocco Marriott, committed to James Madison to play quarterback, and the teams around here haven't really offered him. He's got 39 touchdown passes and 36 incompletions. But he visited Mizzou over the weekend.
What a stat.
I know. He visited Mizzou over the weekend, and he got offered, and the expectation is that he will commit to Mizzou. But this was funny, is that the next thing was, and he'll be raised from a 3-star to a 4-star. I mean, he was a 3-star when he went to James Madison, but a 4-star when he commits to Mizzou.
So there is, like, oh, I love this question because it's, like, literally never changed in 20 years. So, like, I was in meetings for 3 years around this kind of stuff, and then I actually covered recruiting for ESPN with Tom Luganville for a while, and so I was in some meetings with them too. And so what's interesting is some players do just get, like, you do misevaluate them. You see a guy and you see him once and you're like, oh, okay, he's got pretty good this, he's average at this, he's solid at that, we're not sure what he's going to become. And then through the course of a senior, like, I gained 30 pounds, and I'm not joking about this. I gained 30 pounds going from my junior year to my senior year because I was like, I'm not going to play, I'm not going to catch any passes if I don't do something. And I got bigger, faster, stronger, and I ended up starting and having a pretty good senior season. So, like, you do become a different player sometimes, especially at that age when your body can change so fast. So, number one, you have to acknowledge that that's the case. Number two, big overwhelming force in all of this, and this is where two things are true. players do get better and therefore should be elevated or dropped. Number two, it's a business.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are going to, I'm going to say like in 2006, if you were going to Houston, which was not what it is today, frankly, as a program, or if you were going to Florida State or Nebraska, like, we're going to look harder at you. And so therefore you're going, all right, maybe. I was never in a meeting where someone said, this guy is now he's transferred from he switched from Vanderbilt to Alabama. He went from a 4 to a 5. I've never been in a meeting where that happened. Do I think that when you're running a business that is worth $100 million when it sold to Yahoo at the time when I was there, that you're not going to make some business decisions across, like, hey, let's err on the side of the, hey, we're not sure if he's a 3 or a 4-star. Let's err on the side of the 4-star because he, if Nick Saban thinks he's good, maybe we're missing something small here. And so it's even then it's kind of layered in with like smart stuff. Like, it's not, we're not just like, oh, let's make this guy a 5-star because he's going somewhere else. Like, there's still tons of Baker Mayfields and Sam Bradfords and other people that are missed. But players do change a lot. And so I don't ever tell people like that's not true. But I also think it's way overblown, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Braden Gall is our guest. I just thought it was funny. It's, because we've been wondering about why the local teams haven't been, paying more attention to them. And it sucks for, James Madison, higher ranked than Mizzou right now. I mean, what are you doing, dude?
What's their answer? Like, has anybody asked? Like, I know they can't speak about it, but like,
I mean,
what's the common reporting around why local teams that are none of whom are like blue bloods winning national championships wouldn't be interested in a guy who has more touchdowns than incompletions? Or is the player flawed to some degree? Like, is he 5'11" or something?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's always that question about like, okay, so how good is he? He's doing this at Platte County, and the schedule isn't great. Like the competition isn't really amazing, but I mean the guy's 6'4", 220 as a quarterback, so it's
well, there you go.
He's not. And at least
sounds good to me.
At Platte County, he ran a sub 4.540. I don't know that was electronically timed, but
wind aided.
Yeah, that's just what is listed there. And why would they exaggerate? Why would they exaggerate with that? But no, he seems like
to get him an offer from Missouri.
No, that's not what it is. No, I think, but people are pretty pumped about it. I mean, he's also a legacy at Mizzou too, which is like, hold on, your dad.
Oh, very cool.
So
very cool.
Braden Gall is our guest. The Kansas Jayhawks, I don't know that they're going to be bowl eligible. They got a bye now. They head to Iowa State. They play Utah at the end of the season. It felt like Arizona might have been the best chance of getting bowl eligible. They lose. Yeah. They're up 17-7. And what I find to be interesting, Braden, is, and I don't think it's risen to the level of KU fans saying it's time to move on from Lance Leipold. But what it has risen to is the level of zero faith that the team will find a way to win these games. It's now 2 years running, and I was talking about watching that Arizona game and texting with KU friends. It's 17-7. It was the pick six that put KU up 24-7, but called back because of a holding penalty. And I get a text immediately going, KU's going to lose. I'm like, well, they're up. Hold on, they're up 17-7. Now Arizona scores a touchdown on that drive. It turns out to be 17-17. The text between some KU friends and me, it's like, this game's over. I'm like, well, I mean, they can still win. Up 20-17, they missed the field goal, and then immediately 24-20 is going to be the final. They can't get a stop. They will give up a touchdown. They will lose. This thing is toast. And it's like the KU fans have gone from behind Lance Leipold and look what he's done for the program to almost, doom watching like Mizzou fans used to do of like, Mizzou's going to Mizzou somehow. Somehow this is going to Mizzou. And it's a credit to Lance Leipold that they're in the position of caring and being pissed off instead of just saying, oh, KU played this weekend. I didn't even know they were playing. But also it has become a common theme, Braden, that it's very Nebraska-esque of what Lance Leipold and KU are doing and just not winning games late that they have either led in or they've had opportunities, and the common theme is that they haven't been able to win those games going on 2 years now.
I find it absolutely hilarious that inside of that question you compared Kansas to Nebraska like it was a complaint, and we're talking about football here. So that's number one. I just want to back up and take a second to your point about acknowledging what Lance Leipold has done for the program. I can't believe they're acting like Nebraska football. What a bunch of losers.
Can't even win late. They can't win these close games.
I know Nebraska is not what it used to be, but it's still a proud football program with incredible heritage and prestige and everything. So Look, finding ways to win is important. Obviously, the Texas Tech and the Kansas State game, that wasn't the issue. You lose by 3 to Cincinnati. Cincinnati's turned out to be so much better than we ever expected, way better than I ever expected. I thought, that coach was going to be fired and they'd be near the bottom of the standings. So a ton of credit to Satterfield and Cincinnati. You could win one of these two games, but I think your point is interesting that nobody has faith that they can beat Iowa State or Utah to end the year. I do think 6-6. We talked last week, I think, about this, where it was, like people are not excited anymore about certain things, and that is a credit to the coach. And what is the upside for the program? And I think, I'm here in Nashville at Vanderbilt. I think there's a lot of very similar conversations, even though this season is going, much differently. Mm-hmm. And so I think there's always going to be, Mark Stoops at Kentucky, which I know you're close and familiar with, and how they're dealing with this, like outside of the last 2 weeks where they beat Auburn and Florida. Like, Kentucky fan is, what have you done for me lately? And that's because he's been there for a long time and built them up to a 10-win program, and then they fell back down again. And so nobody's immune. I mean, he passed Bear Bryant at Kentucky for the winningest coach of all time. Nobody's immune of criticism if the program starts to slip. Now, if they get to a bowl game, I'd be curious, like, how – this is kind of similar to the Tennessee conversation. Like, I thought Tennessee was an 8-9-win team this year, so Tennessee fans are upset. And I'm like, why? They were about to be an 8-9. Like, that's what I thought. And is Kansas a 6-7 win team this year? That felt like what I thought going into the season. And I don't know where they were picked in the preseason. I want to say like 7th or 8th, right? Like, they weren't picked top 6. So to finish 6-6, if you somehow figure out a way to get a win, how far off is that really? It doesn't mean there's not criticism, there's not questions. It doesn't mean you don't need to fix things in the offseason and reevaluate and change that and change this. Absolutely, that's every coach in America. But how different is 6-6 if they get there than what preseason expectations were with sort of the non-diehard kind of casual objective observer? And I don't know how far off it is. You could probably tell me. I probably expected them to be slightly better, but at 5-5, I'm not thinking that they're so far off their trajectory. I hear you with a lead against Arizona, and Arizona, frankly, that's one of the more interesting stories to be 6-3 right now. And to lose, like, it's the close losses, right? You have the lead against Missouri, Cincinnati, and Arizona. Like, I get all of that. So I just don't know at the end of the day how, again, I'm not a local. I'm not in there. I'm not covering it. I'm not a diehard. But a 6-win bowl team is not terrible. It's not way far off expectations. Just like with Tennessee, 8-4, it doesn't feel great. 6-6 doesn't feel great for Kansas. 8-4 doesn't feel great for Tennessee, but that's basically one game that was different between what we thought about the team and what we didn't.
And I think what it's interesting. There's a little Mark Stoops-ish here, because Lance goes from taking a team that won 0 games with Les Miles to winning 2, to winning 6, to winning 9, and now they're on the cusp of the next 2 games that they lose of going back-to-back years without going to a bowl game. And I think getting to 9 wins, it wasn't that it's like, okay, now every year is going to be this, but it's not going to be back-to-back years of not going to a bowl game. And the issue, I think, for Lance and the program, and this is where, off season, self-scouting what's going on, is that it has been not only this year, but it was the close losses and finding ways to lose games last year. So it's now like 2 years running where they may end up non-bowl eligible back-to-back years, where they probably had opportunities to win 6-7 more games over the course of those 2 years, and they just didn't do it. And some big wins. I mean, Cincinnati, they had that lead, and they lose that game, and Cincinnati's still in the college football playoff hunt. I mean, and they had that game sort of taken care of, and last year a number of them. That's the problem with sort of underachieving a year ago when there was a lot of hope of what they could be, is that if this is sort of where the water's finding its level for KU this year, it's coming off of a year in which they probably left a couple of wins on the table.
Yeah,
and that's tough.
There's no question about that. I've got the Athlon magazine here just to grab it and look at, just to double check. We had them at 8, just ahead of TCU, which is obviously off. Colorado, Houston. We had Cincinnati at 12. So look at our rankings. But we had them at 36 in the nation. That's not where they're going to be.
Yeah.
Right. And so maybe lower than expectations, than even I expected, than I remembered. They're 12th right now in the standings. But if you finish with a win,
Yeah,
and you
need
finish
a win.
if you get to 6 wins, I mean, you probably are finishing right around like 8, 9, 10. And so I agree. How you get there matters. Like we talk about coaches all the time, like James Franklin, Brian Kelly, guys. Now what's happened to both programs since the changes is sort of different. Like watching Penn State crumble afterward is fascinating. Honestly, utterly fascinated. And this is a total aside here, but it just hit me. Like I am utterly fascinated with programs that have enormous expectations and then make mistakes early, like Clemson and Penn State, and just watching. Like I would love to do like. I want to get like team sports psychologists into those locker rooms and like talk through how the players talk about things, because there's no way that's not affecting. Like there's no way Penn State is an 0-6 Big Ten team. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like there's just no way. So anyway, just a random aside there. But like how you get there matters. And an 8-4 team that struggles and limps along is not the same thing as an 8-4 team with a bunch of big wins over arch rivals. I mean, honestly. If you lose the last 2, but you'd beaten Missouri, what would the fans say about the season? So you're 6-6 with a win over Missouri. What do fans say about the year?
I'd say a little disappointed you didn't do some things, but you know what? You got back to bowl eligibility. You got 2 more games left to go. Well, if you're 6-6, I see what you're saying. But you beat Missouri.
That's the win, right? So you get the win to Missouri. You lose to Iowa State and Utah.
Mm-hmm. I think
6-6, but you beat your arch rival. To me,
I mean, you'd be bowl eligible 3 out of 4 years with a 9-win season mixed in there. And you beat Mizzou in a year where Mizzou was talking about going to the college football playoff. Yeah, I think it'd be hard not to come away with the overall season, bigger picture view.
And what is truly the difference in that game? Couple plays? Yeah. How many plays? 5 plays? I would say no more than 4 or 5 plays. So if you are, and this goes right back to the A&M Notre Dame conversation. Like, and I love that this is happening in college football, which is that. Tonight the committee's going to do their thing, and that we can look at losses with like incredible nuance and even wins as well and say, look, it was 4th down, you threw a 50-50 back shoulder fade to a 3rd-string tight end and your player made a play and you won the game, and that's why you're 3 and that's why Notre Dame's 9. Like that we have to understand that that's literally inches. Like if that ball's thrown a foot to the right, the defensive player knocks it down, and we're not talking about A&M this way. And so I just like sometimes we have to step back and go, wait a second, this was like 3 different plays. A guy falls down, a penalty is called, the ball bounces weird. Like sometimes that kind of stuff happens. That's not an excuse for 2 years in a row of maybe losing close games. The way you got to figure out what to do and how to finish games. There's no question to your point about reevaluating, self-scouting, etc. But I also think sometimes we forget, because the internet forces our conversations to be reduced down to like yelling at each other over the simplest things. Like, again, if you told me you thought Notre Dame was better than A&M, I don't have a problem with that. I just don't. I don't. They're basically even, and one play decided the difference in the records. I just factually they're the same. They're equal because they played a game, and I saw them play a game, and they played an equal football game. And so sometimes we forget about that.
Yeah. Braden Gall, 440 Sports, ESPN Radio, Athlon Sports. Braden, you're the man as always. Appreciate it, brother. We will talk next week as we get closer and closer to the college football playoffs. We'll see what the committee has in store for us tonight. Appreciate it as always, brother.
Always a pleasure. Good talking to you.
Absolutely. There's Braden Gall, 440 Sports Podcast Network, ESPN Radio, Athlon Sports. You know, we ran out of time where I was going to have him break down the Pitt State Northwest Missouri State game on Saturday. Just to see what he's feeling about that one. I mean, let's be honest. Does he really need to give his assessment of it? It's like Northwest probably 2-3 touchdowns better. We'll see. I mean,
I'm rooting for the other guys.
You do. Sucking up to Kendall Gammon, I see. You want to mark that? You got some brown stuff on your nose there, buddy. We'll take a timeout. Come back. Continue.
Chocolate.
Oh. Well, you know what? It was Halloween a couple of weeks ago. You know, it is the dessert season, as they say. Thanksgiving, got some dessert. Christmas, get some dessert. Hanukkah, get some dessert. Yeah, it's the dessert season is what it is. We'll take a time out. We'll come back. I did a quick math before the show. There are roughly, give or take a couple, 30 teams still alive for the college football playoff. There is one team still alive for the college football playoff in a Power 4 conference that I don't think is good for college football, that team is still alive if they were to make it. And we'll talk about that next. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you. Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy heading up until 2 o'clock. We'll talk with Todd Lebo coming up at 1 o'clock. Thank you to Braden Gall. So I did some counting, learning math. The SEC, I've got 7 teams that are still alive for the college football playoff. The Big Ten, I've got 5. The Big 12, 5. The ACC, 7. And the group of 5 / independent, 6. So it comes up to around 30. You can make a case for like 1 or 2 others if like a bunch of other things fall in their favor, but whatever. I think it's good for college football that all of these different teams have opportunities to make the college football playoff. There are paths for, Houston. Cincinnati can still make the college football playoff this year. That's a team that should have lost in Lawrence, and yet there's a path for them to make the college football playoff. Houston, same thing, can make the college football playoff. There are 7 teams in the ACC that can make the college football playoff. And so while on the whole, I think it's good for college football, but one of the things that has hurt college basketball over the years is, continually expanding the tournament, and we get more and more mediocre teams. And now they want to go to 100 or maybe 700 teams in a tournament, or maybe every single team make the tournament, because why not? Everybody should get a trophy these days. Every single team makes the tournament. But what it does is it waters down so much of the regular season. I love college basketball, and I can't stand when other people talk about college basketball and go, well, it doesn't matter until March. Okay, well then good. Then don't talk about it then. Don't talk about college basketball at all, whatever. I'm going to talk about college basketball. We'll talk about, KU, North Carolina on Friday leading into it. Champions Classic is a week from today. KU's playing Texas A&M. Corpus Christi tonight. You've got, Minnesota, Mizzou tomorrow, and then K-State playing Cal. Tonight's Kentucky and Louisville. It's the Battle of the Bluegrass tonight at 7 o'clock. There's some good college basketball games going on. But the issue is so many teams make the tournament that you see some mediocre Power 5 teams, though the Big East in basketball, Power 5 teams make the tournament. And now they're trying to make even more of a path for Power 5 teams. There is a team still alive, and I actually think there's a decent chance of this team making the playoffs.
I think I know who it is, by the way.
Who?
I think it's from the ACC.
It is from the ACC.
And I think it's the Duke Blue Devils.
It's who Kansas plays next Tuesday in basketball, but it's a football school. Duke, the obvious football school. Duke is 5-4. They lost to UConn last week. They're 5-4. But they are 4-1 in the ACC. They are playing Virginia this weekend. Virginia ranked, by the way, and only one loss in the ACC, 2 losses overall. Duke is a 6-point favorite over Virginia this weekend. Duke is favored by almost a touchdown at 5-4 against a team that was in the college football playoff on Tuesday because they were the projected ACC winner, or Georgia Tech, whoever it was. But Virginia's right there, okay? I can't remember what it was.
It was Virginia, by the way.
Was it Virginia? Yeah. So Virginia was in that. Now they're a 6-point favorite over Virginia. They lost to UConn, right? They play North Carolina, and then they play Wake Forest. If they win those games, there are 4 teams ahead of them with 1 loss. And if we look at overall record being a decider, and it's not going to be the deciding factor. The 4 teams ahead of them. Georgia Tech, Virginia, SMU, and Pittsburgh are the 4 teams. Well, here's the thing. If they beat Virginia on Saturday, boom, Virginia is no longer ahead of them. Virginia has 2 losses, and they have the tiebreaker. Pitt and Georgia Tech play each other. One of those teams is going to be eliminated, which means if SMU loses one more game, or the winner of Georgia Tech and Pitt loses one more game, and Duke beats Virginia this weekend, and then North Carolina and Wake Forest, Duke's in the ACC championship game. In a 1-game setting against either Georgia Tech or Pitt or SMU or Virginia. Well, it couldn't be Virginia because they would have to beat Virginia. And that's a one game. One game where you can win and go to the college football playoff. And I think what we would see at that point are people saying, I told you not to expand the college football playoff because there are paths for mediocre teams to find a way to win in a down ACC, a bad ACC this year, that Duke can lose to UConn but win the conference and still make the college football playoff because of the way their schedule broke this way without having to play a number of these teams. And the team that they did play that was ahead of them, Virginia, they played them at home.
Losing to UConn should almost
be an eliminator. Sorry, Anthony Sherman, but it should be an immediate elimination.
That was a basketball schedule at UConn, Virginia, at North Carolina, Wake Forest. Hell of a Final 4 games.
That's absolutely right. Yes.
We're not talking basketball here, and I think it's horrible for the ACC because if Duke were to make it at a 4-loss ACC team, you're sitting here going, well, they shouldn't be getting an auto bid. At some point, you're just saying, ACC, sorry, you're not good enough. You're not in the same echelon as the SEC.
Why are we still giving this conference an auto bid?
Yeah, it'd be why Pac-12 with 2 teams. Might as well give one of them a auto bid. And I know Miami, and I understand who's typically I mean, Florida State used to be.
Yeah.
Syracuse a long time ago. But at some point, the ACC is not the same as the SEC,
Big Ten,
Big 10, and Big 12. They are the clear-cut 4.
Yes.
And I think it would be bad for the Big 12 to an extent, too, because, if we're being honest, whether we want to admit it or not, the SEC and Big 10 in football, football only, in football, are so far and away clear-cut the top 2 conferences that it makes it really difficult. And then they're just going to try and maybe bully it and push out the Big 12 and ACC, saying, well, now it's only the Big 3, ACC's not one. Big 12, what are you offering us football-wise? There are better teams in the Big 12 than the ACC. I firmly believe that. But the point still remains, the Big 10 and SEC are clear-cut 1-2. I think it's bad for college football if Duke were to make a college football playoff for a magnitude, a lot of reasons.
Well, and you've got this, I mean, look, they lost to Illinois by 3 touchdowns. They lost to Georgia Tech at home by almost double digits, by 9. And they lost to UConn.
And Tulane.
Oh, yeah, they lost to Tulane as well. Those are their 4 losses.
What's their best win?
They went to Clemson and won by 1, but it's not the same Clemson that we
a 4-5 Clemson
yes,
team.
Yes, right. And they won by 1 there. Go into Cal. Syracuse, they dominated them. They beat them by 35. Cal, they beat them by 3 touchdowns
The
as well.
3-7 Syracuse.
Yeah. What about Cal? What's Cal's record? Are they 5-4?
Cal is 6-4.
6-4 right now
overall. With that's wow, that's tough.
Yeah. So I mean, what the Big 12 has going for them is that Arizona State winning the Big 12 and then going back and forth with Texas last year. I mean, giving Texas all they could handle in that playoff game, and then Texas, Ohio State, whatever. But Arizona State looked like a worthy competitor in that game. Texas Tech looks like a legit team nationally in college football. Not they're the best team in their conference, but what are they going to look like against other conferences' best teams? Texas Tech looks legit. Can they win a national championship? I don't know, probably not. But they look legit with a bunch of players out there. The last couple times they've gone, and it's been a big game for Texas Tech, they've won by 20 points. They beat Kansas State by 20. That game was closer than the final score, but BYU was getting 10.5, and they still didn't cover the spread by 10 or 11. I mean, Texas Tech was giving up 10.5 and still covered the spread by double digits. All right, winning by another 20-point game in a big one where it's like, oh, Texas Tech, a real test this weekend heading to Kansas State. Texas Tech, a real test. It's BYU, Texas Tech, undefeated BYU. Like, Texas Tech has just handled everything outside of Arizona State.
Yeah.
And so I think for the Big 12, it would be great for the Big 12 if Texas Tech wins the conference and then represents the Big 12 as a legit team, where I think it would be awful for the ACC if somehow Duke finds a way to make it into the college football playoff. And again, they're 6-point favorites against Virginia this weekend. And then they'll be favorites against North Carolina and Wake Forest. And all they will need is SMU to lose one game the rest of the way, which could be to Louisville. They both have the bye. So Louisville on the 22nd, they play. If Louisville beats SMU and Duke wins out, they're in the ACC championship. That's it. Duke winning out, Louisville beating SMU. Those are the things that have to happen, and Duke is in the ACC championship.
And I hate doing the SEC wins and their hypothetical, the joke of, well, hypothetically.
Love to see Missouri versus Duke.
Versus that. I mean, Missouri would be favored in every single game outside of maybe Miami.
Maybe.
And if they would have even played Miami in that year, right?
Yeah.
And I get it. It's always the hypothetical win for the SEC. But we give it to the Big 12. You're telling me that Utah wouldn't have won the ACC. You're telling me that,
I'd like to see. I mean,
Kansas
honestly,
or K-State,
Kansas or Kansas State in the ACC this year.
I mean, who knows? K-State lost to Navy, so it's tough. It's tough to really argue that one. But like BYU or Arizona or TCU, Arizona State, like all those schools, Houston, Cincinnati, I think they're better than the maybe 3 schools in the ACC. If that, I think BYU right now still has a decent chance of making the college football playoff. I think right now, if you had to have me vote, I'd say Tech and BYU from the Big 12.
I would think so, because if BYU wins out and plays Texas Tech in the conference championship game, both those teams are going to make it if they're both one loss.
Even if BYU loses, you say the only losses to the same team twice.
Yep.
I best case scenario for the ACC is that Georgia Tech gets it done.
Yeah.
But the issue with Georgia Tech is they've lost one game.
Well, I mean, the highest ranked selection committee team is Virginia, but then Louisville right there behind it. But Louisville's got 2 losses in conference. So Louisville needs help to be able to play in their ACC championship game.
They have to beat Pitt.
Yeah.
Pitt's ranked 24th somehow.
Yeah.
You have to beat Pitt, and then you're probably losing that game if you're Georgia Tech to Georgia. But that shouldn't affect hardly anything.
It doesn't matter for the ACC at that point. So, yeah. We'll take a timeout, come back, continue rolling, and we'll get into some Chiefs football, some more Chiefs football at noon. Also want to get into the conversation about the Royals hitting coaches and what next year could be. Interesting stuff brought up by David Lesky, and also talked about a little bit about the the Sacramento A's making a calculated risk and losing. We'll talk about that as well. More Zone coming up next. Well, you know, all your favorite NBA players are back, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is the place to bet on NBA stars this season. With more markets open for more of the game, DraftKings, the number one sports book for live betting, is live when others aren't. And last night, talked about it, that Cooper Flagg had a phenomenal game, and early on looked like Cooper Flagg was on. And you go to DraftKings and do a little live All right, wrapping up this hour. Thank you to Braden Gull earlier in the hour. If you missed that, check it out on the podcast. Talking some college football, Mizzou, KU. Somehow got a Todd Haley reference in there. Why wouldn't you? You know what I mean? Just going to go out there, try to find a way to win a game. I'll take 53 Lance Longs on my team if I could.
Give me 53 Thomas Jones. Those biceps.
I'll take 53 Lance Longs. I could take 53 guys off the street and win 2 games in a season. Okay, we'll find out, I guess. We'll talk some Chiefs football on the other side of the break. Watching the Bills game on Sunday and what took place on Thursday, the connection of those two, and why it really doesn't matter. All right, we'll continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Coming up at 1 o'clock, Todd Lieber will join us. Factor Fiction. We'll hang out with Todd. Factor Fiction about 1:25 or so. Watching the Buffalo Bills game on Sunday, one of the things that we were going to get into and talk about yesterday was just, looking at the rest of the NFL and what it means when we see Buffalo losing to Miami. And I don't think it's as simple as, there's a hangover from beating the Chiefs, because Buffalo has typically won the week after beating the Chiefs in the regular season. It's not the Marty Schottenheimer Raider week, where week after Raider week wasn't all that great of a record for Marty. But the Bills have been pretty good after beating the Chiefs. So I don't want to just chalk it up to you beat the Chiefs and you got a hangover and you lose that game.
It was your Super Bowl.
Oh, that's right. But as I watch that game, in my mind, I'm sitting there watching, I'm going, how in the hell do the Chiefs look that bad against the Bills, and then the Bills look that bad against the Dolphins? How in the hell does that happen? And then watching on Thursday night, last Thursday, and watching the Broncos struggle with the Raiders, while also seeing most of this year where the Broncos have struggled for 3 quarters in games and then made crazy comebacks in the fourth quarter. And it's okay, the Chiefs, I feel pretty confident about the Chiefs against the Broncos because, boy, that did not look like a serious contender in the AFC West, the Broncos against the Chiefs. But then, I know it seems so obvious, but oftentimes then I have to remind myself as well, is that the Broncos, if they, quote-unquote, no-showed against the Raiders or threw their helmets out there thinking they would win because the Raiders suck, or if the Bills are we know what the Dolphins are, and they played us kind of close at home earlier this year, but they've kind of quit. They traded Jalen Phillips. They've moved on from some players. We're good. We just beat the Chiefs. We're riding high. We'll go down there and take care of business and be fine. It's so hard. One, transitive property doesn't work in sports, and the NFL is such a week-to-week league. But it's so hard to look at any team's performance against a team not named the Chiefs and then try to compare that to the Chiefs, because when has a team ever no-showed for the Chiefs? Maybe the Raiders this year? And it's the Raiders just didn't look like they wanted to be out there. That's a bad team. It's not a team that we're looking at and saying this is the comparison of winning the West or getting the number 1 seed. When is a team ever that is sort of a peer or on the same level or feeling like they can catch the Chiefs or the Chiefs are chasing, that just went out there and was we didn't really play all that well. We just didn't match the energy of that particular team.
When it was cold. Miami in the playoffs when it was cold.
Yeah, and that's more of an indictment on that particular team. As to your point, it's an indictment on that team that because it's cold, they didn't really show up for that particular game, and they didn't really want to be there, and the Chiefs punched them in the mouth early, took the physicality to them, and ultimately they decided they just wanted to go home and get out of the cold. But if we're looking at regular season games, and it's man, the Bills look like that against the Dolphins. How do you lose to the Bills by that score, and then they go and do that? You can't lose to the Broncos when the Broncos barely beat the Raiders and messed around with them. But it's just we don't see teams show up against the Chiefs and not have a full week of laser-focused preparation, because it's the constant basis of comparison of who you are, how good of a team you are, and this is the litmus test to really see if you're a serious contender.
Yeah, that's the best way of putting it, is when you play the Chiefs, other teams, that is where do they land against the best team in the AFC and what has been the best team in the AFC for nearly a decade now, right? It's where is the measuring stick? I will also point out the Dolphins and the Bills, same conference. Division.
Yeah.
The Broncos, the Raiders, same division.
That's a good point.
I think there's at least a small amount that can be given to that. And I'll also point this out for the Dolphins.
Divisional road games are tough.
They are
tough.
tough.
The Broncos was at home, but still.
But again, divisional games are tough.
Yeah.
And especially second time around for Dolphins and Bills.
Yeah.
And the thing I'll point out with the Dolphins that I point out all the time, especially with Mike McDaniel, with Tua, 2 to 3 times a year, they just look like a legitimate great playoff team. And then the other times you go, Tua might be the worst quarterback I've ever seen in the NFL. But there's a couple times a year where you're sitting here going, well, I see the offense looks great. They got Devon Achane rocking. You have Tua looking real good. That happens a handful of times a year, and it happened in that game, and it happened against a divisional opponent. I know everyone's frustration was, how do the Chiefs lose to the Bills while the Dolphins can get it done? Again, my thing is, any given Sunday, Dolphins do this. The Dolphins did it earlier this year against their team, too. What did they do?
Well, they played well
Falcons.
against the Bills earlier this year,
I know it's
right?
the Falcons, but they beat the Falcons 34-10.
Yeah.
2 through 4 touchdowns, and I was like, okay, are the Dolphins turning a corner here? They have the firing of the GM, but they said they're sticking with Mike. Are they going to figure something out? They beat the Falcons like that? Maybe. And then they got waxed by the Ravens. So then I was like, okay, maybe not. So I don't know. I never know what to make of the Dolphins.
Yeah.
They're not the worst 3-7 team ever, because every once in a while they have this in them.
One of the things that I saw was the bigger difference between the two, if you're looking at the Chiefs versus the Bills and the Dolphins versus the Bills, is that the Dolphins are much more of a ground attack schemed team, and the Bills are not good against the run, and the Chiefs are more of a passing team with an offensive line that was not the offensive line you had just a couple of, well, I shouldn't say a couple of weeks, 4 weeks before that when Josh Simmons was starting and Juwan Taylor was healthy. It's not that same offensive line when you're giving up pressures with Rousseau and Joey Bosa, where the run game is sort of, mitigating the impact of those guys when Achane is doing what he's doing. And Devon Achane picked up 100, what did he have, 220 total yards in the game?
He had 225.
He picked up 195 yards in that game after contact. Devon Achane. And that's what we talked about going into the Bills game. They can't stop the run. They aren't necessarily good tacklers. So this could be a game where, do you rely on Kareem Hunt? Can you give the ball to Brashard Smith and maybe he breaks a big one here or there? Elijah Mitchell, does he get an opportunity? Clyde. But they're not great against the run. They're not necessarily great tacklers. And the Dolphins took advantage of that.
22 carries, 174 yards for Devon Achane. That's good for 7.9 yards a carry on 22 carries.
And a ton of that was after contact.
Insane.
And it's like, and sometimes missed tackles are, not showing up to play defensively, not having the energy, that you're not matching that particular team's energy. Miami, I will say, credit that they haven't, quit on Mike McDaniel. They're out there playing hard for him. They beat the damn Buffalo Bills. So they haven't quit in those games, and they're still playing hard. And I don't know, maybe the Buffalo defense wasn't playing as hard because they thought they were just going to be able to, get through that game, and Tua isn't all that good. And but I think that was at least a good enough point to examine, in that Mike McDaniel can really scheme a run game, and the way they run their offense is a tougher matchup for the Bills defense rather than what the Chiefs do against the Bills. Also sort of an indictment on arrogance and hard-headedness and stubbornness about not wanting to invest more or lean in more to the run game to take advantage of another team's weakness that you could use to your advantage instead of passing the ball and not being able to protect Patrick Mahomes. But it's just, I can't watch any other team struggle in a game and compare to what that may look like against the Chiefs. Because it's like the Raiders this year. Was there a team last year that just no-showed the Chiefs? And it was like, the Chiefs, they just walked over that team. That team just didn't want to be there. We've seen the Chiefs in games where they didn't want to be there. 2 years ago on Christmas Day, where they played the Raiders and they lost. The Chiefs clearly didn't want to be there that day. The Raiders didn't want to be there a couple of weeks ago. But I don't know how many teams just simply go, we don't really feel like playing this week. Just like, it doesn't matter. So no matter what the Broncos look like against the Raiders, that defense is going to come out looking amazing, and Sean Payton's going to have something offensively for the Chiefs defense, and Bo Nix is going to make a couple throws that you're like, really? Really? You made that throw? Troy Franklin's going to make an acrobatic catch that he didn't make against the Raiders.
Cortland Sutton always has one.
Yes, Cortland Sutton's going to be a beast in the game. And, if Dobbins plays, he's going to go off. If he doesn't, then it's going to be the R.J. Harvey show. Although, I doubt that because the Chiefs' defense against the run is pretty good outside of what they did against James Cook. But they are going to show up and put everything they have into the Chiefs. It's not going to look like anything that they had against the Raiders. And it's just reality. And it's the reality that other, maybe, I don't know, fan bases, whether it matters or not, national analysts, whether it matters or not, it's a reality that I don't think gets discussed enough, in that we can have a way to help us sleep at night to say, well, that was the other team's Super Bowl. Not necessarily the other team's Super Bowl, but I think it is a reality of, well, that team is not going to just no-show that game. That team is not going to show up and go, we didn't match the Chiefs' energy. If we had it to do over again, we would have really come out excited to play the Kansas City Chiefs. You just don't get that, and you're not going to. But that's what happens when you're, king of the mountain. Teams are not going to show up and go, do we hide some things? Do we hold some things back?
Chiefs are one of the only teams that you'll ever at least have and again, I don't know if I love that argument, but the only time you might at least get serious conversation of, did they hold anything back just in case they will face them again? The Chiefs are maybe the only team that you ever hear that rumbling about.
Yeah, no, it's
true or not. At least you hear the rumblings of that, because just the credit they get for traditionally being such a good team. I guess to me, I think part of the reason why the Chiefs are sitting at 5-4, obviously we can talk injuries, but every team has injuries. It's the inconsistencies. And I keep going back to this. It's not as much the inconsistencies on offense. It's the inconsistencies on defense. We've seen them look great and give up 0 points in a game. We've also seen them give up, 27 plus 3 different times. We've seen them get shredded in the secondary, and it comes down to the lack of a pass rush. And when you have a lack of a pass rush, you will have inconsistencies on defense, because I think we will all agree this Chiefs secondary is one of the best in the NFL. And I'm not trying to be a homer because I'm close and we see every game, but McDuffie is a top 5 cornerback. Jalen Watson is playing like a legitimate back-end CB1 right now. I mean, PFF, the last time I saw, had him ranked, again, take PFF, grain of salt, all that stuff, jumping off point, as the 12th best corner in the NFL. You have had Noah Williams playing at a very high level. We'll see going forward if he gets exposed a little bit. But Brian Cook's having his best season of his entire career. You're seeing Jaden Hicks, the smattering of snaps he gets looks pretty good. Shamar Connor looks like he's found a role for him. But when you don't have a pass rush, and I looked this up, the third fewest sack yards, the Chiefs, 78. Ahead of San Fran, 77, and the Bengals, 67. Most sack yards in the NFL, 271. I think sacks...
Is that Denver?
Denver, Denver, but 271.
Yeah.
Sacks, Denver's kind of the outlier. They have 46 sacks.
They're on a record pace.
Second is Steelers and Seahawks. The Chiefs have 20, but I wanted to use sack yards because I was like, it feels like a couple of those sacks that they have, they're getting like 1 yard loss, 2 yard loss, right? They're not necessarily drive killers. It's almost the same as just stopping a running back for no gain. And I've noticed, and so that's why I went to sack yard loss, because they're third fewest in the entire NFL. Sacks, they have 20. They are tied with the Dolphins and the Cowboys. 2 vaunted pass rushes. Right? Cowboys?
Yeah.
Without Micah Parsons. And the Dolphins, 20. Again, San Fran has the fewest with 12. San Fran's pass rush this year has been a disaster.
Well, and then losing Nick Bosa doesn't help.
Wait, he's injured?
It is a surprise, right?
I'm shocked. But again, the point remains, with the lack of a consistent pass rush, you are going to see the inconsistencies defensively, and that's why the Chiefs, to me, are 5-4. And it's also why, again, when you see them lose to different teams, the Jacksonville game, the Bills game, when you don't get any pressure, you're going to have the ability to lose to teams that you should win against.
The Chiefs have 1 player with more than 2 sacks this year.
Karlaftis.
The Broncos have 6. They have 6 different players with more than 2 sacks. Chiefs have 1. I mean, the Broncos have 3 players with more sacks than Karlaftis does. I mean, they got 3 players. It's not just Nick Benito. It's Cooper. It's Zach Allen. All those guys have more sacks than Karlaftis. And then Franklin Myers has 4.5. He's only got a half sack less than Karlaftis.
And this is why I will give the Eagles credit here. They have 19 sacks this year.
What did they do at the trade deadline?
Yeah. They've tried and brought in a plethora of players time and time and time again this entire season and offseason.
Yeah.
We all knew they were losing a lot of guys, including Milton Williams, right? That was a big name they were going to lose. They lost a lot of big-name players from that defense. So they brought in Zadarius Smith. He retired in the middle of the season. So what did they do?
Traded for Jalen Phillips.
Traded for Jalen Phillips. They brought in Joshua Uche. And again, whatever your thoughts are on Uche, I know he doesn't have a lot of sacks, but the pressure numbers are still really good.
Getting Nolan Smith back from injury helps, too, because some of those numbers were skewed by the fact that Nolan Smith was injured.
Yeah.
But him returning and Jalen Phillips playing certainly helps in their ability to get pressure on a Jordan Love. But, yeah, and we'll see what it costs for Jalen Phillips. We'll see what the Eagles extend Jalen Phillips for and what that contract is going to be. So they've given up a third-rounder and then whatever they pay Jalen Phillips in the salary cap. In the contract and what the salary cap hits are.
Sure.
It's going to be different than the Chiefs because they like to put the void years there.
Yeah.
So it's going to be different than whatever the Chiefs salary cap hit would have been for Jalen Phillips. But the question then would be, if Jalen Phillips turns out to be the guy he was pre-injuries,
yep,
then did you miss on trading for a player that was getting ready to hit the prime of his career and what he looked like closer to the athleticism pre-injuries, and a guy that looked like one of the better players on the field last night for the Eagles?
And oh, by the way, the Chiefs have struggled to identify talent on the edge.
Yeah.
They have. So if you can get a guy who has shown, not maybe even you can even argue a finished product, but a guy who, again, you know you will get some productivity from, is it worth a third rounder when you have really had a hard time identifying develop edge rushers? I mean, you have Karlaftis, who was, again, a guy with a very high floor coming out of college, and he's been very good.
Yeah.
He's been very good. What's the other edge rusher?
Well, we got the guy in the thingy.
It makes you wonder what they were going to give up for Boye Mafe.
Yeah, I do wonder because Adam Schefter, it's interesting, Adam Schefter reporting, but not giving what the cost would have been to acquire Boye Mafe. Well, they had a deal. If you know that the deal was that close to getting done, then why don't you know the particulars and the parameters of what that deal was close to getting done? Were the Chiefs willing to give up a third rounder for Boye Mafe? Was it a fourth rounder? Was it a fifth rounder? Because they have 2 of those. What was Seattle willing? And who is the team that put that information out there to Adam Schefter? Is it the Seahawks letting people know and letting Boye Mafe know that, hey, we love what we have. We're going for it this year. We traded for a couple of players, but we're not even worried about draft picks next year because we think Boye Mafe will help us the rest of the way this year, and we love the guy, so we're not going to trade him. We thought maybe it was going to be worth it, but at the last second, we're like, no, it's not worth it. We're trying to win a Super Bowl this year. Or the Chiefs put that out and said, yeah, people are complaining we didn't do anything. We might have been able to do something if it wasn't for the Seahawks misleading us for the last however many hours leading up to the deadline.
And there's this weird conundrum of, and I've seen this a lot, and I think it's fair criticism of Spagnuolo, where how do you view a DC who might be the first ever Hall of Fame defensive coordinator, right? Hall of Fame as a defensive coordinator, who has had a really good defense in Kansas City for a while now. I think it's definitely fair to say that he's helped build this Chiefs defense into a top 5, top 10, fairly consistent defense. And yet, they don't know how to identify or utilize talent on the defensive line.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point, there's a disconnect. There is a catch-22 of you can have a really good overall defense, but you won't have a pass rush, and they don't know who they like because he's not a Spags guy. Josh Uche couldn't see the playing time at all because he's not a Spags guy. Would we have even seen Jalen Phillips fit in schematically here in Kansas City?
I think so because of the size.
Too, but
Uche feels more Nolan Smithish than, Karlaftis, obviously, or even Jalen Phillips. So I think so.
But FAU to me was also not a Spags traditional body type guy,
and that's a real question as to why they drafted him and what was going on draft night, and did they try to trade out? Were they allowed to trade out? Reports where they were trying to trade up to get Maisie Smith.
Who, by the way, has also been really bad, one of the worst. So that, again, would go to identifying talent on the defensive line.
Yep. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. I missed this last week, the conversation that Alex Smith had with Patrick Mahomes and talking about his off-platform throws. So I totally missed this, but I thought it was interesting. We're going to play the clip, but also bigger picture, like when we look at development of players and people and young people, Mahomes being the player that he is, I think it's really interesting to hear some of the things that he had to say to Alex Smith. We'll do that on the other side of the break, and then we'll get into the Royals and Marcus Timms and the points that David Lesky brought up, which I thought were really, really good. More Zone coming up next. All right, we'll continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. I know the plan was that we were going to talk about Patrick Mahomes and some of the things he said with Alex Smith. We may get to that here in a little bit. But there is some news that I wanted to get into. We were going to talk some Royals anyway, and this comes down a few minutes ago. John Morosi tweeting out as the GM meetings are going on, saying, sources, Royals are evaluating the trade market for outfielders during this week's GM meetings. The Angels and Red Sox are among the possible trade partners. Taylor Ward and Jarren Duran. Correct?
Yeah.
I mean,
I would assume so.
Those are the names that have been connected to the Royals. Taylor Ward's been connected to the Royals for like 3 years. I feel like Taylor Ward and Ty Law are like the same thing. Like, ooh, go get Ty Law. Go get Taylor Ward. Go get Ty Law. Go get Taylor Ward. Ooh, Ty Law makes a difference.
Patrick Peterson.
Taylor Ward. Oh, yeah, that's a better one. Patrick Peterson. And Taylor, because Taylor Ward still not a Royal. Ty Law eventually became that chief. You're right. Patrick Peterson and Taylor Ward have been connected. And last year during the trade deadline season, Jarren Duran was talked about a lot because of the outfield numbers that the Red Sox have, given the fact that the Royals lack thereof in the outfield. And
Duran, to me, feels very Royal-esque. He has traditionally graded out as a fairly good outfielder, right? He is a extremely fast center fielder. Let's see what he was. 91st percentile sprint speed last year. Last year's range wasn't graded as well, but in 2024, it was 95th percentile. So you're looking at a guy who is able to handle the confines, the unfriendly confines of Kauffman's outfield. You also have a left-handed bat, which the Royals have apparently loved in the outfield right now.
Yeah.
You have a guy who stole 24 bases last year, 34 the year prior to that. A guy who does get on base, even though his average was down last year. His on-base percentage stayed relatively equal from 285 to 256, but his on-base percentage only dropped 10 points in 1 year.
both of them play left field predominantly, so you've got, that specific position they're looking at.
He played center a little bit as well. Didn't he play center in...
He plays some, but he's...
What did he play in 24? I thought he played center the year prior.
24 he played, it was kind of split. Center field, left field. Last year was almost predominantly left field.
So 24, he played 105 games in center. So yeah, he was most.
How many in left?
In 24, 83. So he would.
So it was close to.
So he was mostly in center to start games, and he must have done like the move to left. You know how Kane sometimes used to move to right with Gerard Dyson. I guess a little of that. Last year, you're
or maybe
right.
starting in left and moving to center. Either way, but
doesn't matter.
Back and forth.
Yeah. So he was.
But he can also then be a backup center fielder for Kyle Isbell if you have some pinch hitting, things like that late in the game, and Duran is in left field. He can move over to center, where Taylor Ward is a left fielder.
Correct.
Like that's just simply what he is. He's not, and he's 3 years older. So Taylor Ward is going to be going. He's going to be turning 32 in like a month, and Duran just turned 29.
What's really funny is he graded out better, at least range-wise, when he played more center field than when he played left. I don't know what that means, if there's something to take away from that, if that should be alarming or not, but he graded out better in center than left.
Yeah, you're going to hope that Jarren Duran is closer to 2024 than he is 2025, Jarren Duran, because he was an all-star, a top 10 MVP in 2024, had the huge amount of doubles, 14 triples, got on base at 340. But even last year when it's like, okay, this guy isn't having the same season he had in years past, he still got on base at 332 in a quote-unquote down year.
He OPS 774. I
Yeah.
mean, that's a bad
down
year
year.
for, that's one of those situations where you go.
But are you getting him on the wrong side of the arc to where 828, 834, 774, now he's going to be 29 years old. Is that going to stay 770, 760? Or is it 828, 834, 774, 828, 830, 815, something like 810?
I guess it depends on one, yes, but also you have to bring into account where would 774 OPS last year.
Second on the third on the Royals behind Witt and Bobby. I guess
Vinny did go in 798,
yeah.
so you had been fourth, and that would have been the highest outfielder.
Yeah,
but I mean it depends when you Yastrzemski in the 150 games, but
Everyday
I'm
player.
talking an everyday
Yeah.
player. It would have been Kyle Isbell at 654.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so even a down year, the point I'm making is that is such a drastic upgrade in the outfield with a bat that a down year, more pop than Andrew Benintendi.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the one that people probably initially will go to.
Taylor Ward is a right-handed batter as opposed to being really, really, really lefty heavy with, Jarren Duran batting left. Taylor Ward bats right. And depending on what you're looking for out of a player, Taylor Ward doesn't chase as much as Jarren Duran's is more of a freer swinger than I don't know what he is in his personal life. That's neither here nor there. But up at the plate, he's he likes to take some hacks, and he'll chase. Where Taylor Ward has not really been that guy. I'd be fine with either. It's just a matter of what you give up. Now, Taylor Ward is a free agent after this year, so there's one more year of team control in 2026 for Taylor Ward. Jarren Duran, you got 2. You got 26 and he's a free agent after 2028. So you have 3 years of Jarren Duran, 26, 27, 28. 1 year of Taylor Ward, 3 years of Jarren Duran, which clearly will change the calculus on what it will cost to acquire.
Yeah, the cost differential is going to be.
It's just, left-handed bats are fine, but good God, I mean, you become so left-handed heavy if Jarren Duran's in left field. Your entire outfield would be left-handed bats.
By the way,
Duran, Isbell, Jack, your first baseman would be left-hander. Your hopefully primary catcher, Carter, would be left-handed. Like, you would have a whole heaping, helping crap ton of left-handers in your lineup.
I think, though, to me, even with the cost differential, again, it would come down to exactly what it would be. Duran feels more of a Royal. As far as much more athletic, the ability to play multiple positions, center and left, a guy who is not a strict home run hitter. Taylor Ward at this point is basically a home run hitter. That's what he is. Yeah, he gets on base at 317. He hit 228 last year with 36 home runs. That's also in Anaheim, not at the K, right? So you got to think about the translative property of, does that go down to 28? Does that stay at 35-ish? Or does it drop down, and a lot of those are now warning track outs or doubles? Duran, to me, fits the Royals' philosophy and the K a lot better. A lot quicker. I think better defensively overall, in my personal opinion, Duran is. Taylor Ward, to me, feels left field DH, and you just hope he hits a whole bunch of home runs, which at the K feels like a not silly endeavor. But again, there's going to be a part of me. I like Taylor Ward. I'm not saying I would not take him, by the way. Don't get it twisted. But
I'm not going to get it twisted.
Different player. One guy fell off real quick. Hunter Renfroe. Very different, and Renfroe was on the downslide, and Ward just hit 36 home runs last year.
Yeah.
But they tried bringing in a power bat who only played one outfield spot, and the power just did not translate. Now, one of that is Hunter Renfroe is a different guy than Taylor Ward, different age, different parts of their career. But that would be at least a semi-concern in the back of your mind.
The other name to keep in mind for the Red Sox would be Wilyer Abreu, who was talked about as maybe being traded at the trade deadline last year. He's a predominant right fielder. He's going to be under team control till 2030. 26-year-old Gold Glover. But that's going to be a whole lot more than Jarren Duran. Because Freddie Peralta is a guy that is on the trade block for the Brewers, and John Morosi predicted that Freddie Peralta would be traded to Boston for Wilyer Abreu. So if you're looking to acquire Wilyer Abreu, it might be Cole Reagans.
Yeah, because Freddie Peralta's a stud.
Yeah, that's probably what you're looking at. And
I would take Duran over Abreu, by the way, as far as
what it would cost to get him and what he brings to the table.
Yes.
I mean, I think Abreu, if he's a Gold Glover in right field, I think he could play left field.
Sure.
So I think you're fine with moving him over there. But you know what? And that's just John Morosi. Maybe Morosi is saying, Freddie Peralta for Wilyer Abreu, and maybe the Brewers are going, you think we'd give up Peralta for just Abreu?
Yeah.
And the Red Sox going, good God, we'd make that deal right now, but there's no way we're going to give up Abreu for just Peralta. Like, we're going to have to give up a lot more than Abreu to get Freddie Peralta here. So that might be to where it's like, that's one person throwing that out there as a possibility, and it doesn't mean that's going to be what it would cost to get Wilyer Abreu.
Sure.
Or Jarren Duran. But these GM meetings going on, they've got the arms, the Royals do now. And I don't know that it would be, like, last year at this time, I'd be like, what the hell are you doing trading Cole Reagans? Now, depending on what you get back at this time, I'm not necessarily against trading Cole Reagans, because you're also battling the injuries that he has battled in his career. You've got him very cost effective the next couple of years. And he has the stuff to be an ace. But do you trust what your pitching development has done to make your overall pitching staff solid and moving one of those pieces to then get a bat? Look, if you could trade Bubic for Abreu or Duran, I'd do that right now. I mean, he's not going to sign. He's going to get $100 million after next year. He's a free agent after, 2026. He's had the injuries. He hasn't pitched a full season last 3 years. Got injured, Tommy John, coming back from Tommy John, and then last year having the shoulder. I don't know that that's what you could move, but if that's what it would take, then yeah, Chris Bubic would be a guy that I'd be totally fine with moving for one of those players to add into the outfield, because that's really how you're going to get that. The Royals just aren't going to be players on the bigger market for. I'd love for them to go out and get Bo Bichette. Trade for Jarren Duran or Wilyer Abreu, and then go Abreu and then sign Bo Bichette to play second base.
Sure.
That would be amazing, Or, they're not going to go get Kyle Tucker. But, yeah, just go sign Bo Bichette, put him at second base, and then trade for Wilyer Abreu and put him in left field. And now, you've got Jack and Kyle and Abreu in the outfield, and Michael and Bobby and Bichette and Vinny, and then Salvi and Carter. Oh, man, that'd be great.
Gleyber Torres a free agent.
Why don't we just put this fantasy team together? That would be fantastic. Gleyber Torres is a free agent.
That could be intriguing.
That's somebody that I think would be maybe more in line than Bo Bichette. I'm just dreaming here.
I know, but
can a man
realistically, I'm saying, could you
Can a man
pay
dream
the
here?
money for Gleyber Torres and then trade a pitcher for Duran and Abreu? If you wanted to talk about a massive upgrade that's also realistic, not a dream, but a realistic,
Yeah.
I think that's a realistic possibility of, and then how much deeper does that Royals lineup look with Gleyber Torres and either Duran or Abreu? Again, I still think Duran is the guy more so, and I could be completely wrong here, just my opinion. And you move Salvi down in the lineup. Duran is still very, very fast as well, so he's not clogging. Do you have him as a leadoff hitter, right? Is Carter Jensen your leadoff hitter? Because we saw what he can do as far as getting on base as well. There's some intriguing roster construction aspects you could rock with Duran and Torres in your lineup. Torres, obviously, a right-handed bat as well. That helps at least some of the numbers. I don't know your thoughts, but I think that's a realistic possibility. It'd be on the more ambitious, realistic possibilities, but I still think it's realistic nonetheless.
Yeah. Gleyber Torres having hernia surgery after the season was over. I'm pretty sure he'll be fine for spring training next year. I don't know that will drive down the price, but are the Royals going to be in the market for, 4 years, $55-60 million for Gleyber Torres? Is that something they would want to do?
I'm shocked he's only 28, by the way.
Yeah, he feels like he's like 34.
Yeah.
He's like, Gleyber Torres feels like a 34-year-old.
Well, he's talked about Yankee trades
Yes.
forever, so.
Yeah, would the Royals even be in that particular market?
No, they
Or
wouldn't
is
be.
there-
You know why?
Why?
You know what his chase rate is?
It's really awesome in terms of how good it is.
It's the best in all of baseball, 100 percentile. He does not chase.
Yeah.
That's not going to work for the Royals. They like guys who chase.
Yeah. Let's take a timeout, come back, and we'll talk a little bit about that as Todd Lieber will join us at 1 o'clock. The hiring of Connor Dawson and Marcus Timms as part of the hitting coach staff team. I want to talk about a couple of things that were brought up by David Lesky that I thought were good points that maybe could lead into what we're discussing here. More Zone coming up next. interested in making a trade for an outfielder at the GM meetings. That's what John Morosi is hearing, that the Royals are in the outfield market. Angels and Red Sox are teams that look to be involved with the Royals. Taylor Ward, Angels, Jaron Duran, Wilyer Abreu, Red Sox. But the Royals hiring Connor Dawson, returning home, and Marcus Thames as part of their hitting coach group. A couple of things that David Lesky wrote here, which I thought were kind of interesting. Connor Dawson saying, quote, and this is, before, he was hired as a Royal, just sort of philosophically thinking about what their approach is. He said, we've kind of targeted a lot of good swing decision guys. This is Connor Dawson in the past with the Brewers. We value it. He's proven it throughout his career in the minor leagues, too. Honestly, swing decisions are more of a transferable skill than a lot of other things. Swing decisions, that's what they target, good swing decision guys. Target those. Don't really need to develop them if you target them, and that's transferable. A big part of our philosophy is swing at strikes, don't swing at balls. That makes sense. When you have guys that can do that, it's pretty valuable. It's maybe the most controllable thing when it comes to hitting, and you just want to latch onto the things that are controllable. The Royals continue to talk about taking better approaches at the plate and being more selective with pitches at the plate. We can go back to the 2024 playoffs after that Yankees series, and we got to have better at bats. We got to be more selective. We got to swing at strikes, not at balls. Here's Marcus Thames' philosophy, and I think this is interesting how you may marry all of them together with Thames and Dawson and Zumwalt. Marcus Thames. We want our guys to be aggressive in the zone. Pitchers are trying to get ahead, so I want our guys' mindset to be ready to go attack. If the ball's in your zone, be ready to go. Our mindset's going to be being on the attack early. Don't let them steal strike one. Let's go. Be ready to go. David Lesky writes here, no team in baseball saw more called strikes on the first pitch than the Royals. They started 1,925 counts at 0-1 because they looked at strike one without taking the bat off their shoulder. And he says now, this is David Lesky, if we shrink the zone and only look at pitches in the heart of the plate, they were 0-1 after watching 1,106 pitches in the heart of the plate, second most in baseball. Says if you narrow that further, and only include fastballs in the heart of the plate, they had the most called strikes on first pitches on fastballs in the heart of the zone at 691. Says just for reference, first pitch fastballs in the heart of the zone, league hit 350 with a 619 slug. Marcus Thames says, for me, the number one thing when it comes to hitting, you got to be able to swing at strikes, educating guys on what they do well, letting them know their strengths and really conquering that. That's how we're going to get it. It's going to be an individual thing. That was Marcus Thames at a previous spot, not necessarily with the Royals, but the Royals have said, we got to take better, be more selective, take a better approach at the plate, which meant they were going up there just watching strike one. We're not going to swing at the first pitch. Not going to do it. Oh, strike one. Now we're ready to go. We've really worked the count. Now swung at a ball 0-2. Yeah, but we weren't up there just hacking. We didn't swing at the first pitch.
I also like how he said individual.
Well, yes.
Because each player is going to be different. Bobby is probably never going to be a guy who's going to...
He's not going to have 120 walks in a season.
That's not him. Yeah. And that's okay. You don't want him to be that guy.
Yeah, I'm okay with who Bobby is.
I like the individuality of it.
I don't need Michael Massey being a free swinger, though.
Correct.
I don't need the...
or Kyle Isbell.
Yeah, I don't need the left-handed second baseman, trying to hit the ball 430 feet and swinging at pitches outside of the zone. But again, swing decisions, as Connor Dawson would say, is a more transferable skill. And he said, we target guys and those good swing decision guys. That would be more of a Taylor Ward and a Gleyber Torres, as opposed to maybe a Jaron Duran, who has a much higher chase rate than some of those other guys. We chase Todd Lebo next.
parents gave him. But he never had much use for it himself. This
Lebo.
he called himself.
Lebo.
Sometimes there's a man. Well, he's the man for his time and place. He fits right in there. And that's
Todd Liabo.
Kansas City.
I hate Lebo.
La 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 la
All right, we continue on this Tuesday edition of The Zone. We got Fact or Fiction coming up later on this hour. Handed over to the program. They take you up to 5:30, where KU pregame as they get ready for Texas A&M tonight.
It's basketball season.
Corpus Christi, baby.
Good one.
Texas A&M, CC. Don't just send the email. You want to CC Texas A&M before you get there to Allen Fieldhouse.
CC gonna CC me.
That's a real one, not a blind
right.
carbon copy.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, that would be Texas A&M.
BCC.
Brownsville, Corpus Christi. Yep.
Share it.
There, that's exactly
Brownsville
right.
Those are close.
Station?
Yeah.
Smoking in the boys' room.
Uh-huh.
BS.
Smoking ain't allowed at school.
No.
Not anymore.
Because school's out for
the summer?
winter.
Oh. Okay, cool.
Too cold.
That's coming some places. They got a lot of snow around.
Yeah, they got a nor'easter coming to New England on Thursday.
Too bad for them.
At least their stupid jerseys that they're going to be wearing on Thursday Night Football.
Iced up.
Nor'easter jerseys. Sterling says that's going to be a fact or fiction, so we couldn't talk about it on the air.
Can't talk about it, not allowed.
How awful the jerseys are, about how they look like Canadian Football League jerseys, about how they look like if you were doing a movie about the NFL but you couldn't get the rights to the NFL, you would create a jersey of like, this is the New England Rebels.
The Chiefs going to wear these sometime? You know, Clark Hunt kind of said,
he was asked about it, 2027. Yeah. Well, we're interested in seeing what Nike has to offer and what they look like. We'll see what we do. Zero chance they wear those. Zero chance.
Not less than zero, but close.
I'd say maybe more than a zero chance, but less than a 2%.
Like it can't
chance.
be less than zero. That's not literally not. It's
less
not
than
possible.
a zero chance for them to wear those.
It's like when people say 110%, I get irrationally upset. I'm like, why just say 100? You're literally doing the Spinal Tap bit right now.
What about 105%?
You're doing the bit.
You can't do more than that. It's just math.
It's just 100%. Like.
Well, you said you didn't like 110, so I thought maybe 105.
Anything over 100, I think, is silly.
It's fake. It's not real.
I see.
And you're doing a Spinal Tap bit.
This goes to
11.
We're getting to that? Okay.
Yeah.
It goes to 11. Have you seen Spinal Tap 2 yet?
Not yet.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay. Did you go to the theater to watch it?
Watch it at home. My dad and I did.
Nice.
We watched it because we loved Spinal Tap. It's a family movie.
VOG.
Yeah. Right.
And Nigel's Cheese and Guitar Shop is, I want to get that shirt now. It makes me chuckle a little bit.
One. Put it on the Christmas list.
I think it's pretty good.
Send it to Darcy.
Yeah, you should. You should do that. John Morosi, we were talking about in the previous hour. John Morosi tweeting out the Royals at the GM meetings are shopping for outfilders, and they are shopping with Angels and Red Sox. So they're hoping there will be Angels in the outfield out at Common Stadium.
I hope it's Red Sox in the outfield. They should make a follow-up to that movie.
They should.
Yeah.
Red Sox in the outfield.
Red Sox in
Mike
the outfield.
Trout coming here? Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly right. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Don't know if I want him right now.
Trade for Joe Adele. They're going to bring him to town.
He worked the Royals over about every time they played.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, they should get
saved themselves 3 games.
Adele and Ty France together.
Adele was rolling in the deep out here in KC.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The deep was home runs.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Did he hit one like every time he came to the plate almost? I don't remember much about that series, but I remember, who's this guy? Oh, he just kills the Royals.
High school draft pick.
Instead of setting fire to the rain, Adele set fire to the Royals.
The Royals.
That's what it is.
I don't know many more Adele songs.
You did too. That's good.
That's all.
You good?
Need. Yeah.
That enough? Are you finished? Hello? That's an Adele song.
That was an Adele. Yeah, that was an Adele song.
I'm done. I'm done.
Hello. So we'll see what happens with that at the GM meetings. Oh, I said hello, and Michael ran into the studio. I was like, what happened? What happened?
Known we're doing Adele songs.
Yeah, come on, dude. How did you not have the Adele song ready to go? I told you this. I told you, the Joe Adele, that we were going to have Adele songs ready to go for Joe Adele.
He doesn't know who Adele is.
Oh, dude, he's getting Adele.
Yeah.
Nice. I talked about this earlier in the show, too. Nick Kurtz wins Rookie of the Year.
Deserving.
Yes. The A's made a calculated risk, and they lost. The A's calculated risk was that he wasn't going to win Rookie of the Year because they did not bring him up in time for him to have rookie status this year, which means that they would have him through 2031 unless he won Rookie of the Year. And they would have him through 2030 because you get granted a full year of service time if you win
your
Rookie of the
shoulder
Year.
hurt? Do you need to sit for a week? What
Right.
do you got there?
So by winning Rookie of the Year, he's granted a full year of service time. But because the A's did not bring him up in time, which was 10 games earlier, they would have got a PPI at the end of the first round. They would have got a draft pick at the end of the first round. What the Royals got Josh Hammond.
Loser.
Royals got Josh Hammond for Bobby Witt because they had Bobby Witt start the season, and he was, full season rookie eligible that year, and then he eventually became top 3 in MVP voting. But winning the Rookie of the Year, being a consensus top 100 prospect, and having your rookie season eligibility exhausted that year, he was 13 days on the big league club away from the A's getting the first pick after the first round in a draft pick. They made a calculated move. He's not going to win Rookie of the Year, and we're not going to allow him to have rookie status this year.
Yeah.
So we're going to wait 13 days later. And he crushed it.
Too bad for them.
I mean,
they've made some.
I understand
errors in lots.
I
of
understand
ways,
why they
franchise.
made the risk.
They are sitting in Sacramento now for years. Okay.
I understand why they made they took the risk, because what are the odds of him being Rookie
The
of
good
the Year?
news is he played great.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Bad
he
news
played
is
great.
that didn't get.
Bad news
anywhere.
is you lose a year of team control and you don't get a draft pick
They
to show
finished
for it.
1-2.
He hit
Yes.
36 home runs and 420 at-bats. He
He was
played in
pretty good.
117
Yeah,
games
it's
pretty
and
good.
drove in 86 runs.
Well, what's crazy is that when they drafted him in 2024, he didn't play a lot in the minors, but he OPS'd at like 1.4. And then during spring training, he OPS'd over 1,000. So then they sent him down to the minor leagues for like
Seasoning.
14 games, and then they brought him up. Almost like they were trying to manipulate service time,
a little bit.
which is what the
Almost.
PPI is there for, is to keep
He
you from doing that.
manipulated them.
I
Yes.
wish
By being
Cags,
so
you know
good.
what, I'll
Yes.
admit
The
it.
baseball writers manipulated them.
I wish Cags would have done this, even if it cost
it would've been
the
great.
Royals a draft
If
pick.
Cags would have.
I would have been, you know
Well,
what?
Carter's eligible next year for PPI.
There we go.
So, I mean, if Carter starts the season next year with the big league club, then he'll be PPI eligible if he wins Rookie of the Year.
I'm just
or
saying I
finishes
would have
top three
I would be fine.
before arbitration
Let's
eligible.
go, Carter.
So Carter Jensen wins Rookie of the Year next year. He's PPI eligible, and the Royals will get a first pick after the first
Let's
round
root for that to happen.
in 2027.
That would be good.
You know what? Draft pick or not, I'm going to root for Carter to be Rookie of the Year. That's just
That'd be good.
I'm on the record now as saying it.
But
Draft pick or not.
Okay, not
since
great.
they do get a draft pick,
Yes,
it's even
that'd be
better.
cool. Yeah, you get a Josh Hammond.
I still believe in Cags, but his OPS of 532
Is that
was 60 points lower, 70 points lower than Nick Kurtz's slug.
It's pretty crazy. Yeah. But that's
Ca-
the thing that's like,
Cags OPS was 532. Nick Kurtz slugged 619.
but that's also part of what the PPI is there for. It's like, okay, Nick Kurtz, does he have something to prove in the minors? We can bring him up now, and if he isn't any good, then we'll send him back down. He wasn't going to win Rookie of the Year anyway.
Yeah.
So therefore, if he's back down, he doesn't earn that service time, and we still keep that year of eligibility. But if we bring him up now, which is what I think the Astros did and a couple of others, of we're going to bring these guys up that we drafted in the 2024 draft, break camp in 25, and if they're awesome and win Rookie of the Year, we get a draft pick. If not, we'll probably send them down anyway, and then we'll save that year of eligibility as it is, or year of team control, I should
They'll
say,
always,
as it is.
no matter how you try to make the rules, someone's going to try to manipulate whatever
Yeah.
rule you make. And they
Yeah.
just will. I mean, that's what
That's a
people
life
get
lesson with
paid.
Lebo.
That's what people get paid to do.
Yeah.
Is to figure out a way to circumvent whatever set of things there are out there. Whoever sets the rules or whatever reason they've done it for good or whatever, you'll always find some way to go. And this is interesting that they
13 days.
got by
10
themselves.
games and 13 days of service time away from getting a number one pick. And that's, again, we'll see what Josh Hammond ends up being. You know, maybe he doesn't end up, turning out to be anything. Maybe they use him as a trade piece and they get something really good back for him. And that was just because they brought up Bobby Witt to start the season. So we'll see. We'll see if they make a move, the Royals. I think they will make a move for an outfielder. A little bit more time to sort of discuss when you don't have a deadline that's approaching and, an expiration that deadline spur action and all of that stuff. But these GM meetings sort of get a feel for what's out there. And could be Jaron Duran, could be Wilyer Abreu, could be Taylor Ward, could be none of the above. That they trade for.
I mean, this is about all they have to look for. They did all their pitching work
Yeah.
at the trade deadline.
Mm-hmm. And it gave them now an opportunity to trade
Yeah,
for
they've got some guys.
an outfielder, or maybe Carter gave them an opportunity to trade Blake Mitchell. Although I think you'd be trading low. I think you'd be selling low on Blake Mitchell with the wrist injury and sapping his power this year. I think, next year, hopefully that power comes back another year with, removed from the wrist surgery. And then if you do want to move him, then you can move him maybe for more that you would get back. But right now, I think he'd be selling low, so I don't know that you'd be really wanting to do that with Blake Mitchell.
I know this. The Royals will try to do something to make the team better. You always feel that with John Sherman. There are limits.
Yeah.
They're not going to be in the Shohei sweepstakes or something, but they're also not.
Probably not going to land Kyle Tucker.
No, they're not like cheaping out. They'll
would you,
try.
Would you pay 15
do it the way they have to do it?
Would you pay $15 million a year for 4 years for Gleyber Torres, who is one of the best at not swinging at pitches outside of the strike zone, working a count, getting on base of 340, 350, still just 28 years old, played second base, kind of what you were hoping Jonathan India would be, only India is a lesser version of that. But you would have to not pay what you're paying Jonathan India. You'd be paying like $15 million a year for the next 4 years for Gleyber Torres.
I'll be watching what they do with paying some of their own, too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Vinny, Michael.
Right. I said yes, by the way. Gleyber Torres had a really good 23, really good, solid 25, pretty bad 24. He's not a good defender, so that might be the difference in what the Royals do, because they do value defense, especially on the infield and just in general. That's what they value. But
yeah, that's why you got to have Massey there at second base, so he can play a good second base and not.
Or
hit.
he can not be there too.
Yes,
he's hurt.
That's right. To not be there and not hit when he is
be there
there.
or not be there.
I would be a big fan of Gleyber Torres personally. I think that would help the extension of the lineup. Again, if you go for him and Duran, you can move Salvador Perez down a little bit, and he's a great RBI guy.
I still feel like the Royals are a place people would want to come to.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that. They didn't win their division or go to the playoffs last year, but it looks like a fun brand of baseball. And I think
not Pittsburgh.
It's a team that feels like they've got a base of good things for a couple of years at least.
Yeah, and they went out and bought at the trade deadline, even when it seemed like the smarter thing would be to go and sell at the trade deadline. I want to talk some college football with you while you're here. We brought this up in the 11 o'clock hour, I think it is, when we talked with Braden Gall. And then, college basketball has an issue in the fact that, they keep trying to expand the tournament, so it makes the regular season less and less of value. And so many people talk about college basketball, I'll talk about it in March. I don't care about the regular season. It doesn't matter. It does to a degree. College football does not have that. The regular season still matters.
They got to watch it, though.
They do have to watch it. There are 30-some-odd teams that I think are still in the mix for a college football playoff spot. But there's a team in the ACC that Sterling and I talked about that I think would be bad for college football if they made it. And that is Duke, sitting at 5-4 right now. And Duke has lost to Georgia Tech at home. They lost to Illinois by 3 touchdowns. They lost to UConn this last weekend.
UConn's good, though. Come on.
Yeah, they're better this year. But they're sitting 5-4. And I think they're going to play in the ACC championship game.
Yeah, the ACC's a funny one. Now, listen, there's still a few weeks of regular season to go. I was going through some scenarios before I came on, finding a way to get some wacky things. I mean, there's a way of like there's a way Tech could not make the Big 12 championship.
Really?
Now they have to lose.
Yeah, I was going to say,
their games, and everyone else has to win. I got it to where I think I got an 8-way tie at 6-3 in the Big 12. It's not going to happen.
It'd be a coin flip like in Texas?
No, there's no coin flip because they've got tiebreakers. Somehow K-State finishes 8th in the eight-way tie at 6-3.
That sucks.
But so we do these exercises.
Yeah, right.
Because we look for what it could be. We talked about this a few years ago with the way that with the ambiguity of the tiebreaker in the Big 12 could have been being disastrous. It ended up saving itself because it worked itself out. But you sit there and tell yourself, well, no, Duke's not going to be in that game. But
if they
there's
win,
a chance
that
they can be in that game.
They're a 6-point favorite against Virginia this weekend.
And Virginia maybe got broken last week,
yes,
where they scored single digits at home, and they looked like a pretty salty team for a while.
Yes. So then Duke would play North Carolina and Wake Forest to end the season. Pitt and Georgia Tech play each other, so that'll be another loss for them. I mean, Duke could, by beating Virginia, North Carolina, Wake Forest, would end up 7-1. Georgia Tech and Pittsburgh, the loser of that one, would have a second loss. And the only other team ahead of Duke at that point would be SMU that plays Louisville. If SMU loses to Louisville and Duke wins out, they're in the ACC championship game.
Right.
That's it. I know it sounds like, well, that's it, but they can easily win out.
Is a 5-4 team who has proven they can't beat lots of teams going to win out. But
right
now they could.
But if it does, I don't think it's great for college football if people are going to look at it and go, See, this is why you don't expand you expanded it to 12. Stop.
Well, I am cool with 12, by the way.
But don't get to 16. Don't do any more because Duke does not have any right to be there. But even in that scenario, devil's advocate to my own conversation would be Duke didn't get there by an at-large. Duke got there with the automatic win, by the automatic bid, by winning the ACC. But it also just shows, like, okay, automatic bids to make the college football playoff sort of strengthens the SEC and the Big Ten's fight for, well, we want 4 apiece. ACC, you got Duke in there, and so you don't really have a leg to stand on.
Listen, the ACC's been a mess. Miami looked like the real team for a while.
Right.
But then Carson Beck arose and threw 8 interceptions.
That's
and
right. Against Louisville on that Friday night, right?
Who thought he wouldn't do that?
Yeah.
But he did do that. So now that looked like a really powerful team. It was a top 5 team. It's a long season, man. And the thing that I think is good about the 12-team playoff, it keeps teams. There are so many more teams right now thinking about being in the playoff.
I think there's about 30.
Yeah. If you got 2 losses or even 4 losses. In some cases, you've got. There are legit.
But in conference play, you've got 1 or 2 losses. You're in it.
You're in if you can make your tournament.
Houston's still alive in the Big 12 to make the college football playoff.
But the other side of it is, like, these are 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24-year-old kids who,
25.
If you lose a game or something, and you're like, do you check out mentally? Do you start looking for the next thing? This is the stuff that's been the problem all along. So if you have the programs that have the strong coaches and good leadership, and you're like, yeah, you lost a game or 2 games, let's keep fighting. You can still make the playoff and do that. Like I think Missouri's in an interesting spot now. That was a devastating loss the other day. They're not probably a chance to be in the playoffs anymore. I think I went through the scenarios. They couldn't get there.
No.
Because the weird thing about the SEC is there's only 8 games. Some of them only have 1 game left.
Yeah.
Because you still got your Samfords and stuff coming up. So now, how do they finish the year? What do they do? How do they go about it? You got people talking about your coach going around, and I don't think he's leaving. I don't know if he's leaving. I don't know what. But his job now is to get these guys to rally up and play their butts off for 3 games. But I've been saying this for years. I made Stephen mad when I was talking about it this week. Bowl games don't matter unless it's the playoffs. So,
would it matter a bowl game if they went out and they get to the 3rd straight 10-win season?
Yes.
I think it
matters.
matters.
It would matter to Eli, but I don't know. Does it matter
to me?
Does it matter to a kid on the team who's been part of one of those seasons? I don't know.
No. But it matters to the fan base, the alumni, and it matters to recruiting. At least saying.
I think the thing that matters to recruiting most is
money.
How much money am I getting paid, and am I going to play? Those are the top 2 factors. How cool are the uniforms? Might be 3rd now. Did you win 10 games last year? I don't know if it's on the radar for a kid.
Or winning 3 straight years of winning 10 games, does that mean I've got a chance of going here, playing, and also maybe making the college football playoff?
That's my
because
point.
There's been consistency to this.
It's so wild to watch how this thing is shaken out. And you're talking about thousands of athletes and where their headspace is at and where the coach's headspace is at. Because now this is the most number of good job openings I've ever remembered in my life.
Crazy.
In October and November. And how you going about doing that? Because people used to not fire guys this early, but there's so many guys who've been fired now.
Yeah.
So it'll be something to watch for sure, to watch how it goes. We'll watch the playoff. I don't think there should be more
unless
teams.
If you got YouTube TV and they still don't have it.
Yeah,
you won't watch the playoff at that point.
TNT's got 2 of the games on the Saturday.
That's a good call. There you go.
I will have it handled by then.
Do you think that YouTube TV or ESPN is going to reimburse me for making me go to a bar, and then because the game was so bad,
$20?
Well, because the game was so bad, I had to buy Elijah Craig.
You went all the way down
to get me.
You went all the way down to a game.
Yeah.
To watch.
They forced you to go to your own.
They forced me to go to a bar last night, order Elijah Craig because the game was so bad, and play Golden Tee for entertainment because the game was 2 scoops of ass.
You probably won a lot of money on Golden Tee, though.
Yeah, I got a little bit. I got $20.
So you got there you go, and you got $20 from YouTube TV too. That's $40 right there. Look at that. You're actually making money in this whole thing.
I feel like I need to be reimbursed by YouTube TV or ESPN for making me do that.
You need an antenna to get your locals.
I got the antenna too.
Get your antenna.
Yeah,
I had fine on Monday Night Football.
The antenna just in case. The only thing is though, watching the Mizzou game, I can't rewind it.
Can't rewind it. You got to pay attention.
Easier to go to a bar.
They don't rewind it at bars either, so
that's why I got good peepers.
I hate to tell you that they're not going to rewind that at the bar either. So, Yeah, we'll all watch the college football playoff. I think for the Big 12, though, maybe the best thing for them is if Texas Tech just takes it, looks awesome, and it's like, okay, yeah, the Big 12, they have a legit team that has a chance of making a run, and not last year of, well, this Arizona State team came out of nowhere. They're going to be Lance of the Slaughter.
That was the one good.
It's a great game with them in Texas.
First game, yeah.
Yeah, that was a great game, and I think that showed well for the Big 12 and that what they did. That was, Cam Scatterbo and becoming this legend at that time. But I think, Texas Tech going there, I don't really believe in BYU all that much. I think Texas Tech is the class of the Big 12.
Yeah.
They are.
They really, really, really good defense.
Couple games the last couple of weeks were big games for Texas Tech. They won them both by 20-plus points.
Yeah.
They ran away from Kansas State. They just dominated BYU for 4 quarters, just kept them at arm's length.
They have to win a game, I think, to make the Big 12 championship game. And they've never done that before. So this will be a first for the school.
Yeah.
That'd be great for them. And if they look like the best team in the league.
Yeah.
They lost one game on the road when their quarterback got hurt during the game, and that's when Arizona State had their guy.
And it's also an example of if you've got a billionaire that wants to play around with money, then you can turn your program into a team that can make
Everyone's
the college football
paying
playoff.
for players. Everyone's paying for players. You got to get the right ones, and you got to coach them up. You got to give credit to them and playing well. And all that. Got to stay healthy. All that. It helps to be in a schedule that's not as hard as some of the others.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the opportunity. Is it easier to make the CFP in the Big 12 than the Big 10 or the SEC? Probably so. SEC is going to get even harder when they're finally going to man up and play 9 games next year.
Yeah.
Because there'll be a lot of teams with 3-4 losses.
I think it's easier to make it in the ACC.
Looks pretty easy.
I think it's easy. The Pac-12 getting an automatic bid is crazy. Oregon State or Washington State going.
They're
That's just going to be bad.
500.
I think Oregon State 2-6 this year, or whatever they are. That may be fact or fiction. I'm not sure. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll do that coming up next. Yes, that's right. Time for a little fact or fiction on
Fact.
Sports Radio 810 WHB. Fact! Fact! Isn't that what...
Wake up, Sterling.
Isn't that what old Oklahoma State Mike Gundy's coach said? Fact!
No, he said fat.
Oh, sorry.
Different. Fat.
Because it's a fact!
Because he's fat. Because he's fact.
That is a fact.
90%
You just need
of
to
this...
get that drop just because it sounds like
It sounds
just
like
start playing it.
Fact. Find the fact!
Fat.
Fact!
And don't play it all the time. Just every once in a while we'll laugh.
90% of this is inaccurate. That makes it
That's
fiction.
not true.
That's not... Oh, yeah, we get the whole thing.
Oh, boy. We'll get you some drops done.
Wow, Gundy could really help out with this fact or fiction. That's true.
Let's go, Sterling.
Let me get the leaderboard up here. And by leaderboard, I mean just simply writing out the names.
I'm glad it's sponsored by Choice Solutions because this is a great choice for you
It
guys.
is a choice.
Is that right?
You're choosing fact or fiction.
You're choosing fact or fiction.
And it's a choice of a new generation.
Yeah.
A choice of millions.
Yeah. Fact. See? That's exactly what he said. That's
Okay,
what I
I'm
heard.
ready now. I needed
That's
that
what
to
I
get
heard.
going.
You know what? Let's start with Todd.
I'm ready.
Yeah, let's switch it up. We'll go Lebo this time.
Toilebeau.
Lebo, KU will still get to 6 wins and a bowl game.
I'm on a fiction on this right now. I'm not confident. I don't think they're going to win in Ames.
You would be smoking crack if that was a fact. It is fiction.
Wow. I don't know that he's smoking crack right now, so I'm going to go fiction.
You left my crack at home. I don't know why. I would not do that. I'm not a drug guy. Fiction.
So you aren't smoking crack?
That's fiction. Yeah,
Okay,
I'm not
great.
smoking
Good for you.
crack. Yeah. I
Good
know
for you, man.
it seems obvious that I'm not because I'm on, the stream and stuff, but
You're
shockingly, I'm
high
not.
on life.
Yeah,
all right?
correct.
High on
Correct.
life. That's what you are. So you don't think they're going to make a bowl either?
No, I think they're
Dude.
I mean,
5 and
Iowa State's
7.
not great, but it's going to be their home game and all that stuff.
But also,
and
then if they're not going to dominate Iowa State or Utah, so that means they're going to have to play a close game, and they're going to have to make the plays late to win a close game.
not good.
Right now,
Not a
that
good
is
spot for them
shown
to
that
be
it's
in.
Not something that they do very often. Michael leads us off. We're all tied at 1.
Darcy, the Eagles are complete frauds.
I'm going to say fiction.
I'm going to say fiction, not complete. You don't think they're complete, but
I mean,
fiction.
The catalog of hits is incredible. Hotel California, Life in the Fast Lane.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that's fiction.
The band The Eagles are frauds,
Oh.
but not complete frauds. And the Eagles football team are also not complete frauds.
Okay.
They're just
Yeah.
frauds.
It's the complete
the
part.
complete. You picked up on it, and that was a nice assumption you made
Yeah.
by thinking the complete.
Was it the football or the band?
Both. It was the
Okay.
band. It was football.
Okay.
But the band is also. If I want to listen like yacht rock, give me Christopher Cross. If I want,
I don't think it's yacht rock.
no, but if I want like smoother rock, I don't know, Atlanta Rhythm
It's kinda
Section. I
just
don't know. I don't,
Country-ish rock.
no, but if I want country rock, there's
not
Leonard
gonna talk
Skinner
to you
for
right
Southern
now.
rock or like Black Crows. I don't need the Eagles. There's not a time for it. You don't need them.
Yeah, I agree or disagree,
I listen
whichever.
to Journey and Foreigner and
We're all tied at 2.
Boston. And
Yeah. Speaking of Boston, I'll go first here. Is it the Patriots jerseys? That'd be great.
believe it or not, this is a Boston Patriots question.
Yeah.
I believe in the Patriots more than the Colts.
That's a fact
I think
for you.
that's a fact. You like Drake May.
Fact,
you don't
you
believe
like
in
Drake
Danny
May.
Dimes.
Yeah, you like Vrabel, too.
Yeah, I do like Vrabel. That is a fact. After the Colts game and the Patriots game this week, 'cause I thought they were about neck and neck. When I saw Daniel Jones under pressure, I thought, I'm done. I'm out. Like, I think that they might be slightly fraudulent. When I look at this Patriots team, they don't have the best receivers, but Drake May under pressure, he holds his own and he can bail. And yeah, I believe the
Yeah.
Patriots.
He
will
heated
be
up at the end, too.
Leading the MVP voting or the odds at DraftKings Vegas.
Not surprised. We'll go back to
Go back to Todd. We're all tied at 3.
So we were talking about those nor'easter uniforms. I hate the Patriots nor'easter uniforms.
I don't think you do. I looked at them. I don't think you hate them. So that's fiction.
I don't think they're that bad, but I think you might think they're bad. So I'll say fact.
I'm going to say fact just because if you were smart, you would hate them.
Fiction.
You're so
I
stupid.
dislike them.
You
You're
never
so
should have
stupid.
Lebo.
answered with Darcy.
Yeah, that's
That's
true.
on
Good
you.
point.
Yeah, that's a
Lebo.
good point. Yeah.
Lebo, you are correct. I dislike them.
Yeah.
I don't hate
You
them.
don't hate them.
I dislike
You
them.
hated those Chargers ones that were all yellow, probably.
I hated those
Yeah.
Chargers ones that
The
were all
mustard
yellow.
ones?
But, like,
I don't hate
I don't think they look
the
terrible.
Patriots
I don't
ones.
think you should wear a uniform in the NFL where an NFL fan could turn it on and not see
know.
the names and not know who that team
Well,
is.
it happens.
Because you are going to watch that game and you're not going to know that's the Patriots.
Bring back the Patriot Pat, though, for every single uniform. The red, white, and blue with the Patriot Pat snapping the football. That's the best helmet in all sports. But
I agree.
I digress.
4-3, we're all tied. Darcy goes first.
Mizzou will beat Mississippi State and cover the 7.5.
That's a fact.
Fact.
I think you think that's a fact.
Fiction.
Oh, boy.
They don't cover the 7.5.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about this game.
I'm very worried about this game.
Emotionally for Mizzou. That's
for me.
That's what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where are the guys' heads right now?
Yeah.
That's the deal. 'Cause Mississippi State has almost won some games this year.
they've
They
played.
don't win them, but they've almost won. So
And
I
that's
like
why I
the,
like the 7.5.
7.5 is a big number.
Yeah, got me on that one. I thought for sure you're going to be like, fact. Boy, that A&M killed the spirit of Sterling, too.
Yeah, I'm just...
Sterling's picked them to win every single game and cover the spread this year, and now not covering the spread against
I didn't
Mississippi
have
State.
him beating A&M. I had him covering the spread against A&M.
No, you said A&M is a victory. Lock it up. Bet your house on it. That was odd that you
Don't.
called
Because
that.
you said they never lose when you're there.
Lock it
Yeah,
a year.
they don't win when I'm there. I'm 0-3 in my last 3 games there.
Oops.
I think we found
At
the problem.
least 0-3.
I think we've kind of found the problem there.
Kentucky,
If you're worse than
LSU,
0-3 in 3 games, then that's bad.
Yeah,
4-3, we're all tied. I'll go first on this one.
I think this year, Charles Omenihu will make a bigger impact than Ashton Gelati down the stretch.
Fiction.
It's not showing any signs of that at all. That's fiction.
Fiction.
Fact, it's going to have to be him.
That'd be good. I don't see it, but
We all missed on that one.
It's going to have to be. It's going to
Got
have.
me.
You guys missed the last 2.
All right, we're all tied 4-3. Lebo will lead us off on this one.
It's going to have to be a Minahu step up.
Okay,
All
we'll
that
see.
trash talk on Twitter, make it happen. Josh Simmons will start over Jalen Moore Sunday.
it's only Tuesday. Fact.
I'll say fact.
Fact.
Lebo was correct. It was fact.
Does that count?
I don't know.
Does he get an extra one? Is it a capitalized
I'll
point?
give him a half.
Maybe.
It's 5-4. We're all tied. Darcy goes first.
The Seahawks are the best team in the NFL right now.
Based off their win against the Cardinals, the best.
Or best on their season, not just one win.
I'm going to say fiction.
Fact.
Lebo, just pick against me.
Shallow, but
Yeah, I got to go with Jason. Fact.
Yeah, you're correct. It's fact.
Yeah.
I almost went against my own rules.
They are
Yeah, you
right
don't do
now.
that.
They're the best team in the NFL. It's insane. I don't get it. I don't. JSN might be the best receiver in the NFL right now. Their defense
Playing
looks
some great
really,
D.
really good.
I mean, scoring on defense. Yeah.
Sam Darnold is playing really good ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6-5 to 4. We're all tied. I'll go first on this
And
one.
I thought they were dumb firing Pete Carroll.
though?
Jason.
Yep.
The Chiefs will go 6-2 the final 8 games of the season.
Fiction. They'll go 8-1 or 7-1.
8-1 would be
They get an
wild.
extra game?
Well, 8-1 until they get to the divisional round. 7-1.
I think whatever you said, I'll say fiction because there's too many options that can be something else.
Mm-hmm.
You're a believer. I'll say fact.
Darcy got one right.
What?
It's 6-2.
Everything just changed.
Yeah. 6-5 to 5. We're all tied still.
They will
Wow.
be with that 11-6.
Specifically 6-2. Okay.
Mark
Good to
it.
know.
Mark it.
Yep, mark it
we'll
down.
follow this one up.
Well, yeah, for
We
sure.
do every
this
time.
is an easy one.
Every single week we follow them
Yep.
up.
I'm
Michael,
gonna
you're
write
supposed
it
to be
down.
following up on these.
6-2. Rest of way.
Well, they're all fact or fiction, so we know this. They're all correct.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Lebo.
Lebo
Yeah.
will lead us off on this one. Final 3. It's 6-5. We're all tied.
Final 3.
Final 3.
We talked about it. Duke will somehow win the ACC in football.
I'm going to say fiction. It can't be.
I'm going to say fiction, too.
Fact.
That's fiction.
Damn it.
Georgia Tech.
Darcy's red hot.
I think it's going to be Georgia Tech. If it's
Dang
Duke,
it.
that would be horrendous
Amazing.
for the ACC.
That'd be
And
amazing.
yeah.
Can Dabo still get in there somehow?
I don't think so. I think they've got too many losses in conference.
I thought he quit when they started paying players. He said he was going to.
It looks like he did.
he actually did. Yes. He soft quit.
Quiet quitting.
Quiet quitting. That's what it was. Quiet quitting. All right. 7-6 to 5. We're all tied. Darcy goes first on this one.
I wouldn't have fired Brian Daboll just yet.
That's a fact.
Fiction.
Fiction.
Fact.
No, that's a fact. I saw it on PBS.
Darcy's on fire, dude. Is he actually winning?
Wow. It's 7 to 5.
7-7-5.
I would
Yeah.
not have fired Daboll just yet.
You fired him 3 weeks ago.
He was
Sterling would let him finish out the season as
Why?
a dumpster fire.
I think I would have, but the Mike Kafka thing is interesting. If
Yeah.
other teams wanted to take a look.
If you wanted to take a look and maybe Mike Kafka's your next coach, you got 7 games now.
Well, if you want to take a look at a bowl, but it's your bowl.
T-Bone, you can stick your head up a butcher's. Wait a minute. It's got to be your bowl.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the GM's word for
he
it.
was the guy that wanted Dart, and Dart's looking good. We always know when you do this to a rookie quarterback, it takes a long time. It stunts their growth.
Yeah.
Unless you stay with Kafka.
Unless you stay with Kafka.
Yeah, now you got 7 games figured out, don't you?
Yeah.
I'll go first on this one. 7-7-5. We're all tied.
Here we are. The Bears are going to somehow make the playoffs.
Fact.
For Paige, I'll say fact.
I'll say fact.
All wrong. You guys
No
are
way.
dumb. It's fiction.
We made this one up.
We can
Well,
check that one too.
You can, because when you look in the playoff standings, it's going to be
big games coming up.
difficult for them to.
Can't they all make the playoffs?
Well, 7 teams can make the playoffs. Not all teams. That seems.
All of them in that.
Well, you have the Eagles,
that
only team in the
division?
East. You have the Lions. I probably would still have the Packers above them.
because
you-
their offense.
You have Tampa Bay, but then you also have Seattle, LA, and the Rams.
Yeah.
Oh, that one got me.
Seattle, LA, and the Rams.
Yeah.
LA and the Rams are 2 different teams.
Chicago is
Seattle, LA, and the 49ers.
Okay.
Chicago's
Maybe I did grab that.
Yeah.
When
Chicago's
you thought I
in
was smoking the
they are
crack.
in the playoffs at the season ended right now. What is the bonus tiebreaker since we're all tied at 7-7-5?
I thought it'd be fun.
Good.
We're doing riddles. No one
Okay.
ever does riddles for sports or leisure, so I'm giving you guys a riddle.
Okay.
And then if you all get it right, we'll go down to the next riddle, and we'll have a time limit. So it's going to be a
Do
fun
we get the
game.
riddle
Do
ahead?
we
or
get the
you
riddle
just
now
wait?
or on the other side of the break?
What do you guys want? What seems most fair?
Well,
Probably the other side of the break. Otherwise,
I'm cooked either way.
No,
okay,
you're
great.
good.
So we'll do it on the other side of the break. More zone next. All right, we're all tied 7-5. It's the bonus tiebreaker riddle, apparently. Sterling said, let's have a little fun and let's riddle this thing.
Yeah, I have a riddle for you boys. And
riddle me
first
this.
one to answer wins.
Okay.
First one to answer?
First one to answer
We
correctly
buzz in?
wins.
You guys buzz in.
Okay.
Do we
We're
buzz
just
in or
gonna
do we
switch
just yell it out? Right in the butt?
No.
Oh. What? No.
Okay, what's up?
Yeah.
What? That's the line that we from.
That's with
Yeah.
Mick, not with
It's
Lebo.
from Wheel of
Let's
Fortune,
go.
right?
Yes.
And it was also with
A
Dylan.
newlywed
not
game,
Darcy.
I thought we were in the
Was it a
circle of
newlywed
trust.
game or,
Are we not in the
Wheel of Fortune?
circle of trust thing? Are we not in the trust tree? What's
Let's
the
go.
deal here? All right, what's the riddle?
You mean to read it?
What kind of ship has 2 mates but no captain?
A relationship.
Jason got it
A
first.
relationship.
Jason, hey, Darcy wins.
Hold on. What? How did that happen?
You're
I
not
was the only
so
one
well.
that could buzz in.
He buzzed in. You didn't buzz in.
Oh, what is a relationship? Sorry.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Is it relationship?
Darn it.
Lebo
Oh,
wins.
Did I finish third?
So we have
Fourth somehow.
Darcy 1, Lebo 2, Curtis 3,
Oh, wow.
Jason 4.
Okay,
Good
great.
job, buddy.
Thank you.
You
I
really
appreciate
did
it. I finished fourth. Yay, out of 3.
2 mates and no captain.
Two mates, no captain. Well, I mean,
Sometimes
depends
it
on the
needs a
relationship. I
captain.
mean, yeah, so it's a rudderless ship then sometimes.
I'm the captain now.
Look at me. Look
A
at me.
relationship.
I'm
yeah.
the captain now. I know.
You guys like that kind of fun
Sure.
little riddles? We switched it up. We
Yeah.
wanted to have some fun.
I like it. I got it right, so I like it.
Yeah.
We
See,
got
there we go.
fourth.
It's a fact.
You got 4th, but nice.
It's a fact.
Oh,
Is that
it's a
fiction
fact.
or it's fact or fiction? Is what we're gonna play. So
All right, I'm going to go find the It's Not True for you, too.
it
later
ain't
after school.
true.
Yeah.
And then,
there might be 3 or 4 things in that tirade.
well, I think the 90% of this is inaccurate. Could be a fiction.
Yeah.
That could be fiction.
Fact or fiction.
We need to do a Gundy version of fact or fiction. It'd be
90%
legendary.
of this is inaccurate. It's true though.
Joyous.
It was, man. It totally was.
Who they going to hire? Who knows?
I don't
Okay,
know.
so serious
not sure.
question. It's going to have to be either a Minahu or Ashton Gelati who steps up
to
on
take
the other
over at
side.
Oklahoma State.
Dude, Amenahu has not shown
Anything.
much.
But what is
So-
Gelati? And again, Gelati's a rookie. I know he's getting a few more snaps. But
I see him near people more often.
Yeah. Well, like last week, we were talking about the rookies of the year to this point, and we never got into the conversation about which rookie would make the biggest impact the rest of the way if they turned out to be rookie of the year. And my pick is Gelati. Gelati would make the biggest impact if he turns out to be the best rookie for the Chiefs this
That'd be
year.
a big impact.
It would be huge because we know
yeah,
what Josh
quarterback.
Simmons is, if he plays. And if he's not good, Jalen Moore, that level of play that you get. Noel Williams is your third cornerback, could be your fourth with Christian Fulton, but they need pass rushing help so badly that if Gelati turns it on, that'd be
You
great.
guys
It'd be
fired
the
up for
biggest
this
impact.
game? You want to watch this game Sunday?
This Denver game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think the Denver Broncos will come out and play the Chiefs the same way they played the Raiders.
Was there a?
I think, I think that's what typically happens.
When was there a regular season game that had this magnitude?
2021.
Chiefs Chargers.
Nope. November 2021. The Chiefs had a worse record than the Raiders going on the road.
Yeah.
And it was Derek Carr's Raiders. The Chiefs won 41-14 because 10 days before was Henry Ruggs, and that dismantled that entire team. That Raiders team was like 5-2 or something like that,
Yep.
and they were ahead of the
This is a
Chiefs
pretty
by
good
like 2 or
late
3.
game. They've had a couple
Yeah.
pretty good Chargers games late in the year a couple years ago.
Yeah, I should
that-
say this is the first game this late in the season where you've played at least 9 games that you're playing a division opponent with a better record than
the
you.
Broncos are in the
Since
position
21.
the Chiefs have been in many times
Yes.
in November or December where they can basically, choke out the division.
Yeah.
With a win.
Broncos can lose this game, and
the
they're still
Chiefs-
fine.
The
Chiefs
Chiefs
need
win this game when they're in the Broncos' position.
Yes.
They've done it a lot. They beat last year beat the Broncos.
block field goal.
Beat the Chargers a couple times. Beat them down in Mexico,
Yep.
some games like that. The Broncos, if they want to be who they think they are, they win this game.
You win this game.
You are who we thought you were, and we're going to let you off the hook.
I hope they don't let him off the hook.
Fat!
Okay.
Lebo.
There we go. I'll take the win for Fact or Fiction today.
Dylan won.
You got
no,
fourth.
Dylan won. He's not even here.
How did Dylan win?
Congrats, Dylan.
Amazing.